Okay, I think I'm live. Hang on a second. This thing, hold on. Okay. Welcome to the stream. I think I'm got my mic on, yeah. Good morning, Grace, wherever you are. The big news yesterday, I think, was Bethadone had a series of interesting live streams. She did relapse. She did drink last night, but in very entertaining streams, including a very interesting rendition of I think it was Axel F from Beverly Hills Cop. It was kind of interesting. Let me see. Hang on a second. I didn't watch the Jedi. I did see Ruby was streaming this morning, but I didn't get a chance to go in there. VP, great stuff as always. I've got two clips from yesterday of her breaking down the more of her legal issues. Oh, it looks like Grace did go live yesterday for a says she did a bike ride in LA, but I didn't have a chance to watch it yet. Beth was great yesterday, full of energy. Yeah, she was pretty lit up. What's up, Laughing Cedar? So I've got to go to the dentist today. I've got to get the prep work done for a crown, but I don't see any issue. I should be able to stream tomorrow. What's up, Bradshaw? Bradshaw McBrawshaw. Okay, all right. But I should be here for prime time. Anyway, today we're going to watch Morton Downey Jr. I am super excited for these episodes. I forgot what I was going to say. Shit. The first one up is an episode about the death penalty from a little bit different perspective. But let's go ahead and jump into Morton Downey, and then we'll figure things out as we go. A couple who drives around in a Ford Festiva. I'm interested in that. That sounds good. A Ford Festiva? Is that Attila? Would film himself? They won't let me. I tried last time. Remember, I got that like cut on my lip because I was talking to chat during the thing and the doctor didn't appreciate it. Cigarette rolling content. Wow, that's some smoking content at the bus stop. That's definitely an LA move. That's a VP hardline. Yeah, everybody wants to know more about this couple driving the Ford Festiva. Oh, Flexum's latest. I wish I would have recorded it. But I was gonna show it on Voight Watch this coming week. But like, her latest vlog got taken down for being too revealing.
Hey, Mom, do you know where your teenager is tonight? Is he just hanging around, huh? You know, let me tell you something. This may look like a typical American teenager, and in fact, he is. He's a high school senior, lives in Los Angeles, hits the beach on weekends. But what you don't know is that this baby-faced kid could be the guy who recently kidnapped a 14-year-old black girl, viciously raped her, tortured her, stabbed her repeatedly before dismembering and stuffing her body in a sewer. You know what the pablum pukers say? We do with a kid. Well, we just take the kid and give him some counseling. Send him out the kid again. I'll tell you what I'd do to him. Should we hang this kid? You betcha. Die!
Whoops, sorry.
Hang in there, Jay. Come on.
Hang in there, Jay. What an opening.
All right, I'll tell you what. While we're just hanging around here, go let the rope hang there, because I want the hanging prosecutor to know that we've got his rope there. Jim Anders, come on up.
Oh my God, look at this guy.
Now, Jim Anders is a prosecutor. He comes from the southern part of our country, North Carolina, I believe. South Carolina, all right, well, a little north. And we've got with us at home base, we've got loudmouth number 1, Dr. Phil English, professor of communications at SUNY Plattsburgh. Right. And loudmouth number 1, we have Carl Herman, criminal defense lawyer.
Oh boy,
with you first, Jim,
professor and a defense attorney. The crowd's gonna hate it.
A lot of the pablum pukers maintain that the whole process.
Got a guy up in the audience right here. If you can, well, hang on. Can you see him from here? Maybe not. Let me move my window down for just a second. Let's look at this guy and see if... Watch him in the background. He's right here. Watch him. He's right here. Right above the guy's head.
Jim, if you don't mind.
Like, what's he doing up there?
All right.
Just trying to get his face on TV.
A lot of the pablum pukers maintain that the whole process of executing someone, particularly a teenager, is cruel and inhuman punishment. Is there anything cruel or unusual about zapping some zit-faced kid who's taken a human life?
Well, our United States Supreme Court has said that putting a person to death is a proper means of proper punishment. There's no question of it proper.
Are you saying if the punishment fits the crime?
The punishment should fit the crime in every case, and there's some crimes that are so terrible. I've been involved with some myself where execution was really the only appropriate punishment.
I remember that one crime on a show that you did with us before, that young 15-year-old girl who was attacked so heinously with the log and everything. Carl, let me come to you a second. Is there any distinction between a heinous crime committed by a 17-year-old and that committed by a 21-year-old? In both cases, the victim is just as dead, and of course, being 21 doesn't mean you're a rocket scientist.
Well, that's true, but I think we've always treated children differently in this country. They're treated differently in terms of voting age, in terms of whether or not they can drink alcoholic beverages, whether or not they can be drafted to serve our country.
Fermented beverages.
And so I think there's a tremendous difference between a 21-year-old and a 17-year-old for those reasons, and also in terms of...
I'm not sure. I mean, he was a big big smokers' right activist until later on in his life, and then he was staunchly like anti-smoking.
Of maturity. We all recognize that teenagers are not as mature as adults and should not be held to the same standards as adults.
All right, but is that because as society has evolved over a number of years,
what's up, Adonjay?
We have placed less and less responsibility on children as we go back into the, for instance, into the early ages, the Middle Ages, children married regularly at 14 and 15 years old, held regular jobs, had responsibilities. Have we just started to coddle up and all of a sudden decide that this was a resource that we didn't want to touch until it was 21?
No, I think it's a recognition that children are simply different than adults in terms of their attitudes and their maturity.
Is this Bambi?
I agree with you. Years ago, we used to think that children were dispensable. People would have large families on farms. People would have 10 children, 2 or 3 would die in childbirth. They continue to have children.
What's
but
up,
I think
Rhodes
we've
Scholar?
come a long way. Children no longer work in the mines. We don't have them working in the sweatshops.
Well,
I think
that's about to change.
We respect everybody more, and we respect children more than we used to.
Jim, let me come back to you. As a prosecutor...
Can I say one thing?
Yeah, go ahead.
We're not talking about children. We're talking about adolescents, and there's a lot of difference. There's a lot of... We're not talking about 6, 7, and 8-year-old children.
We're talking about reasoning power there as adolescents?
We're talking about people that know right from wrong. People that are able to make major decisions. People who are able to take lives. And they have to have the same responsibility as the other citizens.
Well, Mr. Anders, are you here, as usual, trying your cases in the national media and leaving it up to your assistants to do the real work? Will you generate a lot of sensation? Will you generate your usual sensation-seeking headlines that do nothing to resolve the problem? Go back and do the work that you're supposed to be doing instead of leaving it up to your assistants.
He resolves problems. He saw that a slimy teenage punk got the electric chair and fried. What have you done? Write your little thesis.
Oh, I almost forgot about that, the Chris Elliott skits.
What I've done is I've been out there opposing this and fighting for the right. For the right.
That's on you.
I've been out there fighting for the right.
let me ask you a question, Jim. As a prosecutor,
I'd like
you
to
were
respond.
you want to respond to him? Go ahead.
This gentleman, I finished the case early this morning. The jury came in early, and the person was sentenced to 50 years for killing 2 small
Who
children.
did most of the work on that case?
I did that case, sir, and I argued to the jury, and
Who did most of the case, sir?
I did.
Your assistant didn't do most of that prosecuting?
Who does most of your work, huh?
Obviously, you don't know what
Who
you're
does
talking
most of
about.
your
Oh,
work?
I do know what I'm talking
Who does
about.
most of your work, Professor? Who does most of your work? Huh? Who does it?
I didn't know her fame spread to New Jersey. I just thought she was confined to New York. What do you mean, who does most of my work?
Who does most of your work?
I do my
Man, I would love to bring a show like this back, but you wouldn't get anybody to engage in good faith like they do on this show here.
work.
Is that why it's so shoddy?
That was a great
Jim,
moment. It's not my favorite, but
As a
it's definitely
prosecutor,
memorable.
That's why you have such a small. That's why you have such a small staff, huh, Mort?
17-year-old kid to the electric chair.
Chest bumping the stripper was pretty memorable too.
How did you feel? How did you feel when they pulled the switch?
Well, I felt that it was justice, and that's what we're after. In that particular
What's up? It's me.
case,
What had that kid done?
he had killed one lady and gone with another 2 people and killed 2 additional people, a total of 3 people, 17 years of age.
Well, I'm Team
They were
Sonic,
brutal
just for the
murders.
record.
What
It was
his
of a
IQ, Mr.
15-year-old
Sonic.
His IQ.
It was high enough to be responsible.
What
And-
was his IQ?
His IQ was 80, as I recall.
67 to
Lalo.
77. He
Bright enough
in that
to know
So
range.
what would you
60.
suggest, sir, then?
Marginally
If his
retarded.
IQ was that of a gorilla, do we instead
So this guy is basically saying that Lalo should not be eligible for the death penalty because of his low IQ, which is kind of interesting because you think Lalo seems like he knows right from wrong.
put him in the cage
Well, maybe he doesn't.
with the gorilla?
You know what we do? You know what we do?
What's up, Russell
You
Plunge?
know what we do? What we do is we keep him alive and we study him and we learn whatever it was that motivated him and we avoid it happening again. That's what we do, Mark.
Phil.
That's what we do, Mark.
What is it
That's
about?
what we do.
What is
Didn't
it?
your staff tell you that,
What
Mark?
is it about?
Didn't your staff prepare you for
What
that
is
one,
it
Mark?
about? My staff doesn't have to prepare me like your little undergraduates prepare a moron like you.
Oh, yeah, hell yeah, man.
You've got a bigger staff than I have students, Miss.
I got a lot of things bigger than you got, pal.
Oh,
I
man.
don't care who's doing the work. This man is getting convictions, and that's what we need. I don't care.
That's not a good faith argument from her. We're not here to debate whether or not people should be convicted.
He's doing the work, or if he has a great staff that's doing the work, we're getting convictions. These kids should not be let out, and they really have taken a life, and we've got to look at them as people that are responsible for what they do. They've taken away a life. They are
Let me
liars.
ask Phil. No, forget the card. Let
Yep.
me ask Phil something. Phil, what is it about executing these...
Have you seen the documentary? It was really good. Using the clip feature? Oh, on Kick, you mean?
little blonde hair
The documentary was especially interesting to look at, like a look into his personal life versus the show life.
boys or women or that bothers you. I mean, do they have to look like Bela Lugosi before we kill
What's
them?
up, BB?
What bothers me is that in a so-called civilized, enlightened...
What was her name? What's up, Eddie? Her name was like Tawana. Oh gosh, what was her name? Tawana. Oh, I can't remember.
society, you don't execute
Brawley?
your children.
Brawny?
You just don't do that.
All you
And
do is abort them. That's better.
When you began, tell me the kind of satisfaction and the kind of revenge.
Oh, you're talking about the time he did it to himself. I was talking about the. I thought you were talking about the time he got it. He got into it with people over Tawana Brawny or Brawley or whatever. Yeah, Tawana Brawley. There you go. Videos are saved for 30 days. But do they save all of them or just a certain number of them for 30 days?
How good the revenge feels.
Because it seems like when I click on previous videos, it only has like 2 or 3 days worth of stuff. If they've streamed like they typically do on Kick, where like there's like 3 or 4 streams per day.
When you execute a retarded child, when
George
you
Michaels.
prosecute a retarded
George
child like
Michael.
his assistants did in South Carolina,
Well, let me tell you
what
something.
is the benefit
Let
of
me
that?
tell
How
you
does that
something.
help
I have a
society?
Doberman Pinscher, all right, which has a much lower IQ.
He should have put a little bit more planning into it though, for sure, because like he didn't think that people would notice it. Like he drew the shit. I'm pretty sure he drew the thing on his face backwards, if I'm remembering the news story right.
Than any human, all right?
But not...
I'm much lower. And let me
Oh,
tell
look
you,
at
if
that.
it attacked me, if it bit me, I'd kill the son of a bitch. All right? And I love him. I love him.
Oh, gotcha.
You just can't loose that type of a thing on society, Phil.
What you are doing is you are comparing then children to dogs, Mort.
No, what
And
you're doing, you are comparing people with low IQ to animals.
No, I'm
Let's
not
study
comparing them to animals.
Let's study them.
I'm not
is what
saying
you're
study
saying.
them like animals.
You
I'm
said
saying
study them.
You don't study animals and humans the same way, Mort. You study them differently. You keep them alive and learn whatever it was that motivated them, whatever propelled them. Listen to me now. Listen to me. And do you realize what would happen if we didn't do that with hijackers? Airline pilots can pick a hijacker out of a crowd. Do you realize what we do that with
What a weird
political
system
assassins, and the Secret
from
Service
Kick.
can pull a political assassin out of a crowd because we've kept them alive. Why wouldn't the same thing hold with our young? Why are you so anxious to cut off a valuable resource? And why would these barking seals in the audience want to do that?
Wow.
Are you barking seals? Or do you want him, huh?
Barking seals.
Next, I'd like you to meet the mother of a 15-year-old girl who was brutal. Where is
Oh,
Vicky?
wow, that's
Vicky,
nice.
come here, sweetheart.
I wish I had that on
I'd
YouTube,
like you to
man.
meet
I've
the
got
mom,
so many
all
Ben
right?
and Grace
I'd
clips
like
that
you to
I
meet the
just
mom of a 15-year-old
never got
girl
around
who
to
was
getting
brutally murdered by her
finalized.
poor teenage boyfriend. You hang in for that one, gang, all right?
What lazy clapping.
All right. Let me introduce Vicky Crompton, whose daughter was murdered by a teenager, her teenage boyfriend. Vicky, unfortunately, you're here on this program because of that killing. Your daughter was 15, and as painful as it may be, would you please recount that day for us?
Okay. It was September 26th of 1986, and Jenny had gotten off of her school bus at 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Crompton.
She walked home, and she walked into our house, and her boyfriend, who was 18, was waiting inside, lying in wait for her, and he jumped out, and he stabbed her 63 times.
The barking seal
My
tag
husband
team.
returned home about 5 minutes later and walked in the front door and found Jenny dead, covered with blood. Now, her killer was convicted of first-degree
How
murder.
was he caught?
He had left a footprint in her blood. He had not left a fingerprint in the house, so he had definitely thought he could get away with it. And she had broken up with him about a month previously, and so it was his way of saying, I don't want anyone else to have you, so therefore I want you dead.
How long did this, what kind of a sentence did he get?
Okay, he received a first-degree murder conviction, which is life imprisonment without parole. In Iowa, we don't have the death sentence.
And how soon will it be before he can get out?
In 14 years, he gets his first appeal hearing, or his first parole hearing.
Mm-hmm.
I thought she just
So he
said
might
without
not get
parole,
it
or
then,
say
but he
with
might
parole.
get it a couple of years later.
Mm-hmm.
So 60 times, I imagine some experts would tell us, 60 times indicates a deranged mind.
I would think so.
Stabbed
I think
60
someone who
times.
stabbed somebody else 60 times, I think is clearly crazy.
By the same token, he took plenty of time to make sure he left no fingerprints, plenty of time to get into the house, plenty of time to sequester himself, to jump the girl, to attack her. Could not the frenzy have come when he came down with the knife the first time and saw that he had drawn blood and then go crazy stabbing this child? Could that be the frenzy and not that the man was nuts at all?
You know, the question is, what purpose is going to be served by executing this person? How are we going
To be
stop...
sure that he never kills anyone else.
Well, that's... The only thing you accomplish by killing somebody like that is, as you said, to make sure he never kills anybody else. Do you deter anybody else? Do you stop the next killing? The truth is that statistics have shown, studies have shown, there's a brutalization effect. When you
She
have an
seems
execution,
unbothered.
homicides don't go down, they go up. Because people's
let
blood
me tell you
gets
something.
riled
I
by
don't particularly give a damn if crime does go up. I think what you should do is be punishing the killer. Forget trying to rehabilitate him. Punish him for the crime he committed. Jim?
Who cares whether it deters crime or not? That's not the issue. It's punishment. That's the issue.
Well, no
Let
one's
me
saying
tell
that
you
people
about a
shouldn't be
person,
punished.
Pee Wee Gaskins, who got a death sentence, and it was commuted to life. And do you know what he did on death row after having had his life commuted, or his sentence commuted to life? He killed another person on death row. So apparently,
Wait.
he didn't learn by the
Wait, when this guy thinks this is a good thing? If a killer on death row kills another death row inmate, wouldn't that be a good thing?
the process that he went through.
How old
He's
was-
now on death row, by the way.
Again, good. I hope they
Again,
get
and
him
I
this
did
time.
try that case, as I tried my other
Was he an
case.
adult or was he a juvenile?
He's an adult, but we're talking, you're opposed to capital punishment in any respect,
Yes, I am.
aren't you?
That's right.
Whether they're guilty or innocent. That's right.
No,
All
I'm
right.
not.
Bill, you are too, right, Professor?
Absolutely.
Just against the death penalty.
I think the death penalty has no place in a civilized society.
What would you do if you had a daughter and someone heinously killed them like Vicky's daughter was
Do
killed?
you think I don't?
What would you do?
Do you think I don't consider that question? Do you think that I don't think about that sort of thing?
Well, I'm asking. I'm
I
asking.
would be the first. I would be the first to say to Vicky and anybody else that no one can predict what their response would be in that kind of situation.
I can.
I would like to think. I would like to think. I would like to think that I would be consistent. I would like to think that I would be consistent. That's the only way I can
I'm
answer
sure
that question.
Carl Rowan would have liked to have thought he would have been consistent too.
Yeah, but we
in
keep-
Washington, D.C. Wait a second.
Wave the bloody.
People have got to take responsibility. What we are doing is breeding a generation of young killers because they know that they're going to get away with it. Now, let me tell you something. No, let me say something here.
Well,
My
make some
sister was
sense,
murdered.
and then I'll-
Please, sir, I
Make
didn't
some
interrupt
sense.
you once. I was very nice. My
Until
sister
you
was
say
murdered by
something, you won't
Joseph
interrupt me at all.
Callinger and his 11-year-old son. Joe is now in jail, and his son at 11 never spent one day in jail, not one. He was adopted by and now is living under an assumed name and is getting a lot of psychiatric care. Well, let me tell you, this boy is going to someday be in the paper again for committing another heinous crime. His own psychiatrists have said this.
What would you do?
Kill him.
Kill him.
He is detrimental.
Lord, it seems you keep letting them push you.
Does anybody else, do any of you guys know anything about the name he mentioned? Carl Rowan is what it sounded like. I looked it up. I found a guy, Carl T. Rowan, but it doesn't seem like there's any connection to it. Who's this guy? No. Well, I tried to figure out who it was.
You off the topic you raised. That is, who is responsible? It's a topic you raised here. It's a topic that comes up with your dog. The topic in your case. Who is responsible? Now, I'm not familiar with your case at all. In your case, seems to me a strong argument can be made that who's responsible was the state of South Carolina. They knew this boy. I'm a psychologist. My name is Mark Seglin. I'm a clinical psychologist.
Whoops,
I've
sorry.
worked with this criminal population for many years.
Meet people
Kids
like
like
you every day.
that
Every
are
day.
Your
known.
assistants meet people
They
like
are
that every day.
known, and the reason they kill is that authorities like yourself do not take the proper responsibility in the proper time.
What
We
is
don't
the
need
proper? What
conviction.
is the proper
We need
responsibility,
prevention.
You need his conviction.
Mr.
Let me tell you
Psychologist?
something. Let's
What
say
is
we
the
let these
proper
children
responsibility? What is the proper responsibility?
The responsibility Customato took for Mike Tyson. That was a proper responsibility. There was a boy who could have been a violent offender. Somebody reached in, found who he was as a human being, cultivated his resources. Look where he is today. Why aren't more things like that being empowered and helped?
Wait a second, wait a second.
1 out of 16 million guys like Mike Tyson, and he picks them out.
Many, many. But we don't go that route. I just completed a program, a job where we put together these guys, crackheads, alcoholics, people with long criminal records. We put them through a 3-month program.
Real assets to
and
society.
And today they are out earning their living, staying out of trouble, drying up, and yet we got nothing.
Didn't age the best.
Slack from political authorities, had to move mountains to get any government support, all church-inspired efforts. When you try and get some support for it from the media.
Good, let the
from
churches handle it.
Nothing.
Let the churches handle it. Taxpayers are tired of paying for everyone else's crime. You're going to learn that, you guys. Let me go to Phil. Phil, I want you, take a look at Vicky, all right? Just look her right in the eye.
I've looked at Vicky.
Look at her again, right in the eye, and tell me in your heart of hearts that you really believe that little murderer of her daughter should have walked away.
He brought up this lady that's got a murdered kid, and now he's making this guy tell her that the death penalty's bad.
Wait a minute. Are you suggesting to me that I am less of a man than you because I don't believe in executing the young? Because I don't believe in that?
My daughter was executed. What's your answer to that?
And I told you before that nothing that anybody can say can begin to touch the pain that you feel. What I'm concerned with more than anything else is to prevent that from happening again. And I think the best way,
It happens again by killing the sleazeball that killed her.
No, what you do is
It happens again by killing the sleazeball.
You learn what the sleazeballs causes them to do.
And then kill them.
You don't.
Learn and then kill them.
No.
Learn and then kill them.
I understand the desire to understand how brains work, but are we really going to learn anything from some guy who freaks out and stabs a kid 60 times? Like, what's to learn there? Like, I'm not even bringing in the death penalty issue versus life in prison or whatever. I'm just saying, like, what could you really learn from him? Like, you could learn what his diagnosis is, I guess, but I'm sure there's been many other people with the same diagnosis. It's not like he's some, a lot of these people are like intricate, killers that have these deep psychological profiles. It just seems weird to be focusing on, what can we learn? What?
The mind.
Fine, I'll let you study. Look, I'm giving in to you. I'll let you study the kid. Then you kill him, all right? Next, we'll hear an unusual alternative for those who escaped the hangman's noose. Stay with us. Now, let's give the good professor a chance to redeem himself, all right? Because he turns out not to be entirely a blithering pablum puker. He's got some ideas. Phil, I understand now you have an unusual theory about what we should be doing to murderers sentenced to life without parole. Of course, I know when I hear this theory that it won't make you sound like Dr. Mengele, but go ahead.
Are you going to let me finish? Will you at least give me that much? At least let me finish.
Go ahead, pal.
Humans are very complex entities. All of us, even Mort, have layers of complexity that need to be explored. Why somebody at a young age...
I'm surprised Billy Jack's not on this
authority
episode.
with such low regard, why somebody at that young an age would view human life with such low regard is a question of monumental importance. If we are a civilized nation, if we are a nation concerned with prevention, unlike our brave prosecutor, I believe prevention is the main question. What we have to do is find out what causes it. You don't
what are your experiments?
Let me finish just for a moment, if I may. I have been in a crowd where a Secret Service picked out an assassin, a would-be assassin of President Ford, pulled him out of the crowd and took him away. And I learned later it was because of the profile that they were able to learn from keeping alive people like Sirhan, Artie Bremer, etc.
That doesn't, I don't know. Again, I'm not even talking about the death penalty. I'm just saying, like, I don't think there's that much to learn from every criminal.
The same thing would hold true for a teenage killer. What is that profile? When we learn that, we will be able to pass that information on to
Well,
teachers
how long does that take?
and social workers who can prevent it. Who can prevent it. Now you can blow me back to Plattsburgh.
Now, what are the experiments? You said you had experiments.
What's the
Experiments.
profile?
I never said experiments.
I say experiments. I mean,
You say experiments. I don't say experiments.
You didn't say experiments, huh?
What I
You
said
know what I
was
do?
study.
You know what I do?
Yeah, I
I
know.
cut off their unit, put it in a pickle jar, and fry them.
Cut off their unit.
Valerie,
So Mort wants to cut off their unit, put it in a pickle jar, and then fry them.
Realistic. How the heck are we going to watch every child every minute? We can't do what we're doing now. You're talking about setting up
Whoa, whoa,
profiles.
whoa,
Let me
whoa,
tell you
whoa,
something.
whoa, 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 whoa. Is she saying that, is she advocating for antinatalism by saying that parents are no longer able to manage their own children?
We've got to stop them. When children learn you don't do it or you're going to be punished, and punish is forever, then it'll work. Discipline is
and
the key
adults,
here.
too.
Let me tell you something.
And
Most of
by
these
the way,
cases,
thank God for the prosecutor. For some reason, you have something against this man, and he's there
What?
doing his job.
The
His job.
profile
nearly
is,
every one of
is
these
an
cases,
adolescent
they
with
are
a
known
knife
to
or a
authorities.
pistol.
The calendars
That's the
were
profile.
known to authorities.
They
the
sure were.
authorities did not exercise. They're the responsible culprits.
these
I've been in
are
two
Who
different.
is
I've been in
Flintstone
two
jelly
different-
jar.
I have
the
been in
excellent
situations
credentials of the people,
where I have said
the
to the
liberal
authorities,
pukers
"There's gonna
who have
be
gotten us in
murder."
this trouble in the first place. All right?
What's up, Bob
Come
Brown?
on,
You should be
for
doing
40
it.
years,
That's
Professor, for 40 years, you creeps have had all these wonderful, let's build society again, and you haven't done squat.
37
You
states.
haven't done squat.
37 states now have a death penalty. How well is it working?
It's not working
very.
well at
That's
all,
right.
because you guys and the ACLU defend the criminal, screw the victim.
Because
Sorry, Mort. Sorry, Mort.
people from the
You guys
lunatic
take
fringe
the
like
responsible
you
authorities
don't know how to,
off the hook.
haven't realized yet that
Let
the
me
way...
tell you about the lunatic fringe, pal. We're lunatics because we've
Hey, hold on a second. Now we know where John Moxley, Dick the Boozer, stole his name from. He stole it from Morton Downey.
been putting up with you elitist intellectual bastards.
Well, yeah,
What's
so
up,
long,
Ember?
Who don't make any
But
sense.
now-
Don't make any sense.
but now-
You get committees, you write reports, and you don't do...
Yeah,
Give me back.
Thank you, Ember.
What's up,
I
pal?
appreciate it.
I listen to guys like him with the suit on and making a good living and saying we should study these guys.
Oh,
Okay,
boy.
when you went to school, you studied, you took the books home. Well, you take some of these slime and take them home for 40 years and let them live in your house. And what? Wait a minute. But it goes two ways, too. And I see this other fellow over here with a nice southern accent saying how he's going to clean up everybody by hanging 14-year-old kids and making his name hanging 14-year-old kids.
17-year-old.
I think it's somewhere in between. I think that maybe it's time that the victim had a shot at it, like I had in the Bible.
Oh, wow. Interesting take.
Why not give me the stone and let me
Unfortunately,
throw
the
the
victim's
stone?
dead. The victim's
The
dead.
family of the
Valerie,
victims. The family of the victims.
Valerie, come here a second. Here's the family of a
Just said
victim.
this.
Here's the family of a victim. What about your
Outside,
sister?
we were just talking about
What
this.
about your sister?
She's dead. Now, if this man gets out of prison, my father, I can tell you, is going to spend his life
Great
trying to
episode.
kill this man.
Well,
so
let
then
her
I
get
got to worry about that. That's ridiculous. This is the state's problem. They should be putting these people to death.
We're going to come back in just a second and talk to our audience and talk to some other folks who've had some real problems. Stand by.
Man, I just think these are so much more interesting debates, even though they're much lighter and they don't go as like in depth as the shit you see online. Just because you have to like, you can. I mean, if these people, you can't just turn your cam off and disconnect. Like you're in the arena, you're in the theater. Like you can't. You have to like, you know, you have to stand firm and defend your ideas. I think that makes us like a million times better. Even though, like I said, a lot of time there's not really debate. It's just people expressing themselves. But give her the bowling ball grip. Wow.
Let me come back to Valerie, who's at loudmouth number 2 with us. Valerie, let me ask you a question. Would you tell us what happened to your sister, please?
My sister walked in on Joe Callinger and his 11-year-old son, who were robbing a house and sexually assaulting people in the house. And
With the son?
with his son. And he tied her up and tried to have sex with her, and she refused, and then he asked her to chew off another man's penis, and she refused. She said, "I'd rather be dead." And he killed her. He slit her throat, stabbed her 7 times with his son.
What kind of a man is this, Doc?
Yeah, I mean, like, what can you learn from that? What can you learn from the guy who did that?
Sir? Someone you'd like to save? Someone you'd like to save, doctor, maybe? Wait a second, please. Let me hear the poor doctor have a chance. Should we save this man, sir?
We should find who's responsible for this man. Now, this was a grown adult, Joseph Callinger.
Yeah, this is a grown adult.
Well, then he should be held responsible
So
unless he has been ruled insane.
So you'd be in
He has
favor
not
of
been
this?
ruled
My
insane.
point
He
is
was
this.
not ruled
I
insane,
say
so you'd be in
unless he
favor.
was ruled
So you'd
insane.
be in favor of the death penalty.
Here's my
for this guy.
point, Mort. If your dog kills somebody, dog can be taken, but the one who's responsible is you.
So who's
So
responsible?
you're the one
for
who
this guy?
has to be. You're the one who has to be held accountable.
So who's responsible for Joe?
Well, Joe Callinger is an adult. He's responsible for himself.
So
In my
we have
house,
him, don't we?
So I have no problem with that. But in my house, I'm responsible for my children. Maybe in your house, you're not responsible for your children.
No,
I'm responsible for mine.
I'm responsible
I've been
for
telling
mine
him,
to a certain age.
He's 17 years
So
old.
you would like,
and I
so
tell
you
him
would
I
like
know
every,
more than
wait
you.
a second. You would like every parent whose 14, 15, 16, 17-year-old kid kills someone to be responsible. Hang the parent, right?
Yes.
What I'm saying is,
Absolutely.
these stories
That we're
do not
responsible.
Hey,
come out of nowhere.
listen.
The calendar.
Let's be real. Let's be real. If there was real parenting going on, those numbers wouldn't vanish, right? But they would go down significantly if you had involved parents. Now, the issue with that discussion is you have to go, it opens up so many Pandora's boxes of the ways to solve that are not ways that most people are interested in doing because they're expensive and time consuming. But I do think the parents have to have some accountability. If your kid pushes over a vase at Walmart, you got to pay for it, or at least you have, it's your responsibility. Like, why would it be your responsibility for a vase but not a human life?
Family was known to authorities.
Lock 'em
Your
up.
kid was known to authorities. They were a risk factor to the rest of us, and you acted irresponsibly. And I can recount cases from my own experience
not able, sir,
where
to
I went
identify-
over and worked on cases.
Vicky.
And I said, this person's at risk to be killed. She's going to die. Do something.
Taking
Nothing
the
happened.
responsibility off
Vicky,
of the
let me
killer
hear it.
is what's wrong with this country. You don't want them to be responsible for their own acts. That's why it keeps occurring.
Yeah,
You have
nobody
take
wants to be the
responsibility
whole.
and the consequences of
Let
what
me ask
you
you a
do.
question.
The whole message really that shines through here for me is that no one wants to be responsible. Everybody has an idea of who they want to be responsible, but like it's never them.
Vicky, let me ask you a question. Listen, let me ask you a question about your daughter's boyfriend. Had anyone ever reported that he was a bad guy to the cops?
No,
Had he ever been in jail?
no,
Had he ever been picked up for shoplifting?
never.
Had he ever taken drugs?
No,
He hadn't done any of those things.
no.
Where the hell's your profile there?
How could she possibly know that he had never done drugs? That's a weird, like, I don't understand that line of questioning. She can't possibly know some of those things.
Doctor?
I'll tell you what, Mort. You give me the guy's school records, you give me his hospital records, I bet you I'll find something.
The problem was,
Psych.
So even in 1988, asking someone to prove it was very unpopular.
Psychologists, they'll always find
Because he couldn't take rejection, and he thought violence was the way to solve that. And he thought he could get away with it.
Valerie, I got to ask you something. The guy was an adult who killed your sister. Assuming Dr. Seglin here can turn Charles Manson into Donny Osmond. I mean,
Donny Osmond.
Well, would the age make any difference in
None
executing the
whatsoever.
killing?
I see it that these children are never going to be healthy in society again. And if they are going to take a life, they have to be responsible. And maybe the next 5 children, or as you call them children, if
I think that was along the lines of what that guy in the audience was kind of suggesting, although it did seem like he was maybe advocating for like letting the family carry out the execution. Every single one of these cases should be seen as just that, case by case. Absolutely. But the problem is that move for a lot of people is that it moves slow. People can get it wrong. So they don't want to take that, you know what I mean? They don't want to look at it. They don't want to look at anything nuanced. I mean, look at right now. Like we are facing in America like a real concern over like due process. Like there are people who don't think that people deserve a trial, and like whatever, people are entitled to their rights, but like well, in theory, in theory. But I mean, like there are like people just don't want any kind of like solution that doesn't align 100% with what they want. Nobody wants to. It's all zero sum. I feel like whether it's in debating, whether it's in politics, relationships, we're just in like a zero sum society.
If they hear what's going to happen to them, they'll think twice before they do that. They will not do it.
Jim, before I go to our audience, let me ask you, Jim.
Well, and then what do you do? What do you do if it's a crime of passion? So somebody can find out that like, oh, her, Catherine Trammell, whenever she finds out that like her husband is cheating, like, does she get executed, or because it's a crime of passion, is that like not, you know what I mean?
I mean, you've been involved in the execution, the prosecutor's office of a teenager.
In my opinion, if you really boiled it down to people's opinions that we're seeing on the show, I think if it's somebody that they like, they would probably not want the death penalty, or someone they identified with or whatever. But like if it's someone that they don't like, or it's part of a group they don't like, then they're for the death penalty.
Were you and your fellow prosecutors worried about your Con Ed bill going crazy
we
when you
worried
recommended
about
that
the
electric ride into heaven?
We weren't worried about the cost of prosecuting the case. We were making an example. We didn't have pin-headed liberals to point this person out for us in advance. It's a shame that there wasn't one there to point the fellow out for this lady.
All right,
These people that tell you that they can profile, it's ridiculous.
Well, let me talk
I
to
am
this
an
young man.
average 18-year-old American teenager. I have friends who are
She's from Iowa, right? I'm going to look up what the politics in Iowa were
25
in
years old
'88.
and
That
older.
seems weird. They
Yet
wouldn't
I
have the
act
death
more
penalty.
mature than any of them, and you could say that I'm not responsible for my own actions. If I kill somebody, I am responsible for my own
authority
actions.
that I would exercise and hold myself responsible and say, you have to do what I have to tell you because you're my son and I'm supporting you and
But
I'm the
I am
responsible
more mature than all these people that I know. And they're,
Boy, are
they-
you
they
living
can
in
control
ancient
their
history
actions,
time.
But I can't control mine.
Let me say more. What you're doing, what you got to understand you're doing is undermining vested authority when you start saying, let's just kill them all. Because what happens...
What's the best
what
of the
happens is...
Come on, stop being a hypocrite.
Let's take a
Stop
look
being
at
a
Manson.
hypocrite.
Let's
Stop
take a
being a
look at
hypocrite.
Manson.
What's the best
How
of
did
authority?
Manson...
No, that is interesting. So in 1988, it was a 30-20 split in the Iowa State Senate. So Democrats were in power in 1988 in Iowa. That's wild.
Not whether I can turn him into Donny Osmond. How did he get created? He was in state institutions all his life.
Well, let me ask you a question.
What I like about this show, and some people do get mad, and that's okay, but like I like that you can talk issues out, you can say whatever, you don't have to like pussyfoot around, you don't have to kid gloves, you can say what you're thinking, whether you're a guest or you're in the audience, and like they might boo you or whatever, but like it's just you can just say how you feel as long as you're willing to like face a little bit of heat for it, but like nobody's getting like, things are staying at a certain temperature.
How did he get
Let me ask you a question.
That's
You
the question you got to ask about
say the
Manson.
vested authority. Wait a second, let me hear this. The doctor says the vested authority, right? The vested authority in who? The parent? In the parent?
Parent?
What is the parent's vested authority of a
School,
15-year-old?
hospitals?
15-year-old, let's say. What is my vested authority of a 15-year-old? My 15-year-old decides she or he is going to do something they want. What's my vested authority?
If you're 15
Do I
or
have
16,
total authority
where
over
do you
my
go to court?
15-year-old?
Where will you be? What kind of court will you be tried in?
Well,
what kind of court
no,
will you go? You'll
let
go
me-
to family
let
court.
me- let me ask
You'll
you
be
about-
held responsible,
Let
yes.
me ask you.
I think
I'll
that's
be
a
held
good system.
responsible. I'll be held
Absolutely.
responsible.
You'll go before a
Isn't
review
that the most
agency.
hypocritical thing you've ever heard? I mean, my daughter has to have my permission to get her ears pierced, right? At 15.
I don't think we're concerned
At
about
15,
ears
she
piercing.
does,
We're talking
doesn't
about,
she?
we're talking about
She doesn't
heinous
have to have my
crimes.
permission to get an
We're talking
abortion.
about
Where the
crimes.
hell is my vested authority?
Oh my God.
I have none. I have none. That's bull. That's bull. Let me speak to the...
Your statement about responsibility is way...
Well, and two, the audience understands, Mort's audience is probably leans heavily conservative, but they understand that they're going to disagree with him on some issues. At least it seems like to me, the live audience anyway. And when he does, it's not like it's some big deal and they feel betrayed and they want to cancel the show. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, oh, I don't agree with Mort on this. Like, a lot of people didn't like that he believed in like a lot of social programs and stuff like that, you know. But it wasn't like that. He wasn't demonized for it by the people that normally sided with him.
Way off base. I tried to sue the parents of my daughter's killer, and the state protects them. They are not held responsible for the acts of their minor child.
Well,
so you're way off base. That's
If I
ridiculous.
understand, you're...
Let me hear from this man.
Mort, may I ask the doctor something?
Vicky, if I understand it,
Excuse
he
me,
was
sir.
18, no?
Let me hear
That's
from this
right.
man.
But
thing
they
on?
raised him and they formed him till his 18th birthday, and they're still not responsible.
Doctor, I'm getting a little confused. I've heard the lecture from you. I haven't heard what happens to the guy who does the crime as yet. You keep saying the state is wrong and the parents are...
Yeah.
What is the punishment that is meted out? Aside from saying, well, we think society maybe did this or activated it or whatever the hell they did, what are you going to do to punish to answer the crime? What do you suggest is done? No, I'd like him to answer because so far he's dodged every answer. I'd just like to know what the answer is.
Oh man,
Well, I assume that we punish him.
Well, how would you punish him? Well, you're giving us a lecture about our morality, what we should do,
How do we
we
punish
should behave to these murderers. That's okay. You're a psychologist.
No,
okay?
I'm not
And
saying
if the
how we should behave. All I'm saying to you is be very careful, because if you focus
Bob
in
Brown
on
is
retarded
with you in
teenagers,
complete
who
solidarity.
you're taking off the hook are the school authorities, hospital
Doctor,
authorities,
excuse me.
criminal justice
No offense,
authorities.
Was
but
your
you're doing it
daughter's
again.
killer
They should
a
be punished.
retarded
Still
teenager?
asking the question.
There you go, Mort. You're taking one
Measures should be
example.
taken.
No, that's what you guys been doing.
We have no
That's what you guys been doing, Phil.
I think JF, I think another issue is that in this time, if you wanted to participate, you had to put yourself kind of on the line. Like, you had to physically be in an environment, or like, you know what I mean? To take part in the show, you actually had to be there, which eliminates a lot of like bad actors and unfortunately gets rid of some like potentially funny trolls. But it's just a different vibe. Like, when you have to show your face, you have to be there in like physical proximity to the people that you're arguing with. I think it kind of changes the dynamic a little bit.
All I'm asking
That's
you
what
is,
you
what
guys
is the
have been
punishment?
doing.
Well, and nobody's trying to go viral here. Nobody's thinking like, oh, I can't wait to see how many, I'm going to sabotage this thing, so that I can try to get some views on TikTok. Like, and I don't know how you get that back. I don't think you can go back from that, but even heavily vetting your guests or whatever, you're bound to get some of them.
For 40 years, you guys have been doing that. For 40 years, you've loaded us with all your liberal crap. It hasn't worked. It hasn't worked, pal.
I'll tell you who commits the murders.
Who commits them?
The people who commit the murders are the retarded, the poor, the
Oh,
indigent.
come on.
Those are the ones that commit the
Come
murder.
on.
Those are the ones
You're
that
so
commit the
full of
murder.
crap. Get your statistics
and you've
right.
been
Get
committing
We'll
that.
go to the audience. They know I have...
Sorry. It'll be interesting to see what happens. Was it Texas that passed the law that said under a certain age you can't be on social media, which means that everybody is going to have to upload their ID and shit to be on social media, which again, I don't know what they consider social media. Some people consider Reddit social media. Some people think YouTube is social media, but it'll be interesting to see what happens there as far as like which sites you have to provide ID for. Like, it could be the end of anonymity in some areas for the people in the states that adopt that.
Hell of a lot better. Stand by. Let's go. one last question. One last question for our guests, and I want our audience to get in here. And here's the question, all right? Let's all talk about capital punishment for just 1 second, all right? And let's talk about it as a deterrent, and I want you to respond individually. If people knew that after committing a heinous, premeditated murder, they were going to get swift justice, swift execution, without regard to racial prejudice, as sometimes is done, do you then think that capital punishment would be
What's
a
up,
deterrent
Hurricane?
to murder?
Can't be done. It's just impossible.
See, like, just right there, Mort saying, hey, you know, I'm all for swift justice, but let's make sure there's not, like, racial prejudice involved. That would get him canceled by huge sections of conservatives nowadays. Like, everybody just wants to, like, cancel everybody for some reason.
Possible to be done. The way our system works in this country, everybody's entitled to a fair trial. The prosecutor will agree. Then if you're convicted, you get an appeal. You can take your appeal up through the state courts and then through the federal courts. You can go to the United States Supreme Court. There are people on death row 8, 9, 10 years. They go to the Supreme Court 3 and 4 times. So you're talking about something more which simply won't exist in this country.
This guy kind of looks to me like he's a character in a Christopher Guest film.
As far as I'm concerned, should never exist. We can't.
All right. Jim?
Let me make one suggestion. Congress needs to move capital cases to the top of the dockets on the federal side so that they're dispensed with. People need to remember what the crimes were when the punishment comes about. It needs to be swift, and if it were, it would be a deterrent.
Well, I would say most people in your audience don't even know whether there's capital punishment in the state of New Jersey. These are all New Jersey residents, I assume.
No, they're not. So, typical of the assumptions, typical of the assumptions of the elitists. Professor?
Elitists.
I don't think it would serve. I don't think it would serve as a deterrent to juveniles, because I believe that children are drawn to that which is dangerous. They're drawn to that which is a risk. I know that that's the way I grew up, and that's the way we all grew up. And when there's that little added element, when there's that added element when there's that added danger, that makes it all the more delicious and all the more exciting, particularly when we're talking about people
Valerie?
That's ridiculous.
who are unbalanced.
It's amazing how we talk to the victims of murder, right? And therefore, and those who have never been touched by it don't want anything to happen.
That's exactly right. And, you know, we keep talking about what it's going to do. I want to tell you something. I think my parents deserve to know that Joe Callinger and his
she'd
son
be great
are
in a
dead.
porn, I think.
I
She has a
really
porn
believe
face.
it. The victims need to know that
I mean that as a compliment.
If it's not a deterrent, why do these criminals try so hard to cover their tracks? Why do they go to the bother of wearing gloves to conceal all fingerprints? They are terrified of getting...
See, this doesn't make any sense to me. She's saying if it's not a deterrent, then why do criminals try not to get caught? They're going to do that no matter what. People try to cover up crimes that are like misdemeanors. You know what I mean? Like, I understand where she's coming from, but her argument style is outlandish.
caught, and it always amuses me to hear them say, but I don't want to die.
The person that our brave prosecutor prosecuted tried to escape in a taxi cab, took it to his father's house. That
was a creepy speech from that guy.
Thinking far ahead
for
about
sure.
what's going to happen to him, isn't it? That's the kind of person we put to death. That's somebody who's covering his tracks. That's an example of what I'm talking about when we say that they are not capable of viewing their consequences when you're dealing with somebody who has an IQ of 67.
So we have to be responsible for them?
Come on now, come on.
Let's go to the audience.
For a criminal now?
Let's go to the audience.
Like, I do think in theory, yes, if you know, like, hey, there's serious consequences, that will deter a certain percentage of people. But it's not like there are people out there who are willing to cross certain lines and they're like, you know what, I want to stab this person 60 times, but I forgot it's illegal. I forgot I can't do that. Gosh darn it. Like, no, I don't think it's a deterrent to people who are going to commit those crimes anyway. I genuinely don't. But I do think there's a place for it. I have to admit, I'm not the person to make any kind of a decision on the age of it or whatever. As far as executions, that's way above my pay grade. But I do think having it on the table is you know, has value. But I don't think it's a big deterrent.
All right, because now we're being made responsible
Just
for
film
everyone who
them,
can't
that way
think
no
for
one
themselves.
can.
I'll tell you what I think. I mean, I think capital punishment and everything is I'm for it. But I'll tell you this, I
Mischaracterize
think
your
they should take these
actions.
pukes back to the scenes of the crime where they committed it and give them a taste of what the hell they did.
Look at this guy behind
do they
him.
have to take another person's life? Who the hell do they think they are?
Okay, Pat.
I'm from New York, and I just like to say, teenagers should get the death penalty. Otherwise, what's to stop them from doing it again? We ought to put the fear into them before they start putting the fear into us.
Wow, man, he came all the way from rural Pennsylvania to tell us that.
That the death penalty is inhumane. All right. Why don't we cut some of their hands or their feet off? They'll never kill again.
All right, let me, young lady, step up here to the front.
This guy's like, hey, why don't we just enact Sharia
I like
law?
to say that, for one, psychologists are one of the main reasons for what's going on, because, for one, psychology is not an exact science. If you took 5 psychologists and 1 mentally ill person,
What a
they
sex
come up
pot.
with 5 different diagnoses. And I'll tell you, the new one they
And
got
the mentally
now...
ill person would probably diagnose the psychologist as mentally
She's
ill.
got big, like, nurse vibes. I'm getting nurse vibes from her.
And the newest one the psychologists have got now is postpartum blues. If you got that, you can kill your infant, and it's okay.
Okay.
Unbelievable. First, I feel bad for Mrs. Crompton over here, what happened to her daughter. Okay, but I got a question here for the psychologist over here. Obviously, if this is all premeditated, obviously they're sick to begin with. Why? How come we're going to do something with these people to begin with in any event, all right? If something like this is going to happen, we got to believe an eye for an eye, all right? We got to get Governor Cuomo from New York, okay, or Tom Keene from Jersey here, and bring back the death penalty.
Cuomo, what a loser. Remember when he got in all the trouble for the, like, being creepy with the women in the office, and then it turned out that what he was doing was, like, telling them repeatedly how lonely he was? Like, that was such a sad story, but hilarious. I'm so lonely.
With gloves and obviously with their shoes,
Leilani
obviously they're
Kai.
sick to begin with, okay? If they're 15, 16, 17 years old, obviously, if they're going to think like adults, they should be tried like
so
adults to commit
lonely.
adult crimes.
Wait a minute, you just went from their being sick to their thinking like adults. That's my very point, and I think that's the professor's point.
Correct.
Phil's point is that we don't know enough about what the states of minds are. I don't know enough.
No, so
Obviously-
let's wait until
What
Vicky
we
has
do
3 more
know-
daughters who get killed.
what we do
Then maybe
know-
we'll know
Yeah,
enough.
right.
What we
Jim,
do
you want
know
to say
is
something?
Not really. I think that he's doing an excellent job.
And
Yeah, he was a
perpetrators
real
of violent
orator,
crime,
all
they
right.
almost all have histories.
Great camera angle.
And that is where I have seen 20 years of irresponsibility on the part of
Yeah,
authorities of
okay.
the state and members of the media.
Okay, obviously...
I want this
he's-
man to come
he's
up.
committing
I want
adult
this
crime.
man with the chains. I want to hear
Oh, they're
from
talking
him.
about the dad?
Come on up, sir. Come on.
Oh, I keep forgetting this is this is like 40 years ago.
First of all, I don't know too many retarded people who commit crimes anyway, so I think we should start blaming retarded people. Second of all, I wasn't killed, but I was mugged, and I'm blind in this eye right today.
I wasn't killed.
I suffer with pain every day of my life, and I think the son of a so-and-so who did it should be hung up from that rope you took up there before.
I like this guy. He's won me over, I think.
I got one thing to say. Man has been killing man for thousands of years. With liberal politicians such as Mario Cuomo, there are many people roaming the streets in New York right now who should be behind jail for the rest of their lives. I say, go by what the Bible says. Eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth.
All right. All right.
Yeah,
right,
don't
tell you
wear
what we're gonna
mixed
do.
fabrics.
We're going to break, and we'll be right back.
Why did he open with the whole like man's been? He had a great opening with like man versus man's been killing man since the dawn of time.
All right. I want to, before I go back to the audience,
Just remember, they said that a person who with an 80 IQ should not be executed. So just remember that when you think about Lalo. He could get away with anything, and he's not going to death row.
Question for the good doctor, all right, doctor? Let's assume we can come to a compromise. Would you agree to surgical blinding of murderers so they can't see?
What?
Surgical blinding?
I must say, my stomach quails a little bit at that. Where are we going with this?
We're just going to,
let
would you
me say
agree
this
with
to you,
surgical
Mort.
blinding?
I
We just
feel
blind them.
that we can do a lot
Blind
more in
them?
controlling their behavior, and we do run into civil
A lot
liberties
more
issues.
if you blind
and
them.
I would probably be on your side of the civil liberties. I think we can do a lot more with the technology we have to control the behaviors of these people that put us
We
at
can
risk.
certainly control them a lot better if they're blind.
Well, I have trouble with that. I have a
They're
blind child,
blind.
to be honest
You have a blind child.
with you. Yeah, I have a real
All
trouble
right.
with that.
All right. Well,
I'd just like to propose somewhat of a compromise as well. You can't have a line down the middle and say hang them all on one side.
He told that guy with a blind daughter that they should just start blinding all the criminals.
And at the same time, you can't say, you know, bleeding heart for the rest of them on the other side. We have judges and juries in this country, go over each case, and if the jury of your peers decides that the crime you committed in the particular circumstances deserves the punishment of death, then that opportunity should be left open.
okay.
True.
Go ahead, sir.
Sorry,
That's
Maury,
pretty
I just wanted to
reasonable.
make it back.
Oh, look
I
at
still
this.
never got an answer from the doctor. What does the doctor profess that we do?
Quickly now, you got 20 seconds.
That's the point. I don't have a simple answer for you on
Okay,
this.
then, doctor,
There
while we've
is no
still got a
simple
couple of
answer.
seconds,
It went so long without anybody bringing up God, it wouldn't happen nowadays. That's because these people are approaching it from like so many different like perspectives, I feel like. And now everyone is like agenda driven versus issue driven. Does that make sense? So they have to fold all of their little like beliefs and issues into whatever their, identifier is, which for a lot of people in the YouTube debate sphere is either like atheist or Christian or whatever.
may I say something?
we have to
Stop
Foundational Catholic American.
telling us what to do with them and let society handle them, okay?
All right. Look, I have as much respect for the dignity of human life as anyone in this room. But when it comes to people who have proven to have absolutely no respect for human life by killing someone, I say they get what they deserve, death. I don't care if the killer's as cute as a button or a pit bull puppy. They kill too. Kill them back. Good night, everybody.
Kill him back.
His packaged music videos? Watch Hit Raiders Heavy Metal Meltdown, the Hard Rock TV magazine that goes behind
Kill
the
'em
scenes
back.
with interviews, news.
All right, I thought we could use like I thought we could use a lighter tone after that heavy episode. So this is nudists in Atlantic City.
From the showboat in Atlantic City. Okay, all you cellulite freaks out there.
Cellulite
This is
freaks.
the show you've been waiting for. Nudists. Now, are we talking fat, ugly bodies, waddling up and down the beach, or a thinly disguised way of life for a bunch of exhibitionists? You look for a little sexual excitement in your backyard, right? Now, I'll tell you what. Just to get with the flow of things, I'm going to take off an item of clothing in each scene.
Uh-oh.
Nudism, next, come on.
Now, nudism, that's something we can all agree on.
Let me introduce you.
Ninja Assassin.
Somehow I have a funny feeling I'm not going to get through this show in one piece. Or maybe I meant I'm not going to get through this show with one piece. Now, I'll tell you what.
I think I can picture does it have like a guy on the cover art that's like he's got like chains or something? I can't remember. I think I know what movie you're talking about though.
Okay, my first item of clothing is gone. I would ask all these nice ladies and gentlemen in our stands here, take off an item of clothing every segment. I see some of you are down to one segment already. Let me introduce the folks at home base here. We have Bill Flesher. Ooh, that's a great name.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
And Fran Flesher. They have the Treehouse Fun Ranch.
Yeah, he has like those blade things that run on the long chain. Ooh, it's on Hulu.
And we have with us Phyllis Miller from the Assembly of God Church.
Phyllis Diller.
Thank you, Phyllis, for being here. You, of course, heard my invitation to the audience. Each one of them during each segment can take on an item of clothing. If you want to join us, it's quite all right.
Only for my husband.
All you have to say, Phyllis, is, what would Jimmy Swaggart have done? Right? Let me start with
what
Bill.
would Jimmy Swaggart do? Not the best
Let me start with
question.
you, pal. You run a little spot called the Treehouse Fun Ranch. Now, exactly what kind of fun do you have in the treehouse, baby?
Oh, my God.
We have a 53-acre resort that has swimming pools, spas, tennis courts, 2 restaurants, and horseback riding and a little of everything. And it's a nice family-oriented nudist
Imagine
resort.
if they're nude, you do have a little bit of everything. Fran, at what point in your life did you get the uncontrollable desire to run around with your little breasties hanging out?
Wow.
First of all, I was born that way.
You were born that way.
51 years ago.
Were you born with breasts?
I was born nude like most
Were you
everybody
born
else
with breasts,
does.
and were they saggy?
I was born with every part of the body that I have now,
We're all
except it
born
was
in
smaller.
sin.
They're trying to close the nude beach by your house. Yeah, I think there's that's what I said was actually probably completely false, because there is a big push from like older like boomers and older Gen X, and then also like Gen Z people who hate nudity and hate sex in like art and movies and stuff. So that's not too surprising.
Okay.
Naked horseback riding.
Phyllis said loudmouth one anytime you want to interject something, anytime you'd like to insert anything, go right ahead. Let me come to...
we were all born in sin, Mort.
We were all born in sin?
No, God did not create us sinful. He created us from the love of Him. Right, but we disobeyed the rule. It is a human being.
Oh, they've got their
that made
towels.
things sinful. It's a mind over matter. It is not the human body or God's creation that is sinful. It is sin. We negated God's plan, His original plan.
You want me to do IRL at a nudist resort? I could at least go to I could question the guy inside the office.
Fran and Bill, do you consider yourself exhibitionists? I mean, do you like walking around showing your sagging breasts and your teeny
Nudists come in all sizes, all shapes, tall, thin, whatever, and we do our nude walking, or whatever you want to call it, in the atmosphere of where it's legal to go nude. That's why we have resorts and certain beaches that are legal for nudity. A place like this is not. But I see a lot of potentials out there that could be.
Oh, yeah. Wow. So she sees a lot of people in the crowd she'd like to see naked.
Seeking attention.
Phyllis, let me ask you, do you think there's more to the whole nudist thing than just seeking a perfect tan? I mean, is this just the ultimate in easy sex access?
I just see it as them bringing additional shame to an already promiscuous society.
All right.
That's
Let me show a hand.
what people think. They equate nudity with sex. But you do not have
There's no way to separate it.
Oh, yes.
Oh, come on. Oh boy, here we go.
There is a way to separate. I'm going to show you how we separate it in just a second, all right? Come back with us. We're going to talk about to some of the folks out here. You say that nudity and sex are, of course you have to get naked to get with it, all right? But the point is, does everyone who gets naked get with it? Have you ever slept naked with a man and not had sex with him? Truthfully, have you?
No.
Let me see a show of hands from guys here who have slept naked with a woman and not had sex with her.
Oh, wow. Self-owns.
And this is truthful.
Lalo.
I have done that on many occasions, slept naked with a woman and not had sex, all right? Now, we're going to come back and find out if this really is a problem. Notice...
Is there nudity? I have no idea. I doubt it. Definitely, if it is, it's heavily censored, I'm sure.
Chicago's.
The Flamin' Caucasians.
Let me introduce some new guests.
It's an episode on nudism. Cody Turbo, and he said he's gonna slowly get nude over the course of the show.
We have joining us in this segment, we have at the loudmouth Diane Lewis, who is a born-again Christian. Hi, Diane.
Right.
Diane.
Looks like my old principal.
No. And of course, Phyllis has joined us at home base, where she can become part of the activities. I have an objection. I guess I have no objection, really, if everyone wants to take off their clothes and show their bare butts. But let me ask a question of the fleshers here. You really have the right to impose that on the whole family, including little kids? Let me see the pictures.
Skid marks on the sheets.
Little kids. I mean, isn't that really something for some pedophile to sit around, you know?
Oh, my God.
It's a family resort. We are members of the American Sunbathing Association.
Criminal, do you take criminal, wait a second, did you take a criminal record of Tammy? Did you take a criminal record of
When hair looked like helmets? Oh my God. Wow.
Phyllis, let me ask.
Why'd you let me answer what you just said?
What?
You asked me a question.
Yeah, did you take...
Which honestly, like the discomfort in a moment like that is a valid argument on some level for, you know, against the lifestyle, because it's like just the like why the documentation, why the... Very strange. But, like, I understand why they showed it, because it is something like, hey, if this is, like, a completely wholesome, natural thing, then certainly, you know, it's not going to be, you know, awkward or anything.
Criminal records of Jim and Tammy and Swagger. They had no prior convictions, but they were a bunch of real sicko perverts.
Oh, look at the guy behind her.
You know, sin got in the way of their life, but these people are promoting it. They're saying that they don't have sex going on.
You're saying that everyone who gets naked because they show their...
No, you're putting words in my mouth. I did not say that.
Okay, all right, go ahead. What
I
did you
didn't
say?
say it.
Aphrodite.
They walk around and they're naked and they bring their kids there and says, wonderful family affair. How come when you have contests, all the pornographers show
Can they
up?
speak for the sickies? Can they speak for the sickies?
No, but they let them in around innocent children and around...
How do you know that?
Well,
Blue Lagoon, yeah.
wait a second. Now, how about the kids? Why should some kids...
I think that and the that one version of Romeo and Juliet are always two of the movies that come up when people are talking about that topic.
7 or 8 have to be raised. The only thing that they can identify with sex is some shriveled up penis and sagging breast.
They look at the wholesomeness of the family issue. It's not the sexual. It is not the sexual. Believe me, this is a
You go into the cabins at night and check things.
Overstimulation, extended focusing, it's abusive.
It's abusive?
Overstimulation.
Overstimulation.
I would think if you went around and, I don't know, all right? I don't go to nudist colonies, but I would think if you went around...
It really is.
Resorts, what the hell?
Colonies are for ants.
All right. I would think if you went around, you invite some of the uncles there too, though, don't you? I would think if you went around nude long enough, you'd kind of become desensitized to seeing that stuff, and it wouldn't be any big deal.
They don't grow up socially accepted.
Let me tell you something.
We have 5
Oh, he's cutting a promo.
to the nudist movement, and they all are part of our community.
What do they do
Not
for a
only
living?
that, my son's a police officer. My other
That's
son's a
why you
fireman.
haven't gotten
My daughter's a court reporter. My son-in-law's the city attorney.
We also have a sheriff.
And we have a sheriff.
As a daughter-in-law.
Let me hear. Skip it.
In Indiana, there was a nudist colony. The guy's no longer in business.
Uh-oh.
He's no longer in business because he got busted for child pornography. And when the sheriff arrested 16 people, 12 of them had criminal records. Do I think you're walking around nude all day and playing bingo at night when the lights go out? Give me a break.
We don't play bingo.
Do I think... Wait a second. You're fully clothed.
Right.
I mean, unless you're a little abnormal, do I think you're playing bingo all day and doing nothing at night? Yes. I can think what I wanted, and you can think
I mean, for
Have you ever had sex? Have you? Is it dirty? Is it dirty? Honey, I've had real sex. Let me go to Fran Flusher. Doesn't the presence really, let's really get down to the basics. Doesn't the presence of nude and naked bodies mingling with the younger, sexually curious kids have the potential for disaster?
Yes. The kids don't have to be in a serious situation like some of these magazines and things that the children that are outside the nudist movement read to look at all these sexual things. They can see what a nude body is right from the start, and they respect it.
Children?
Why? Because this is our society. This is a family environment. We're all born without our clothes. God has given us a mind to make sure that our children are growing up into the likeness of Him, whether it's
Let me ask a question. Wait a second. Let me ask a question. Do you belong to a formal church?
He smokes a few cigs, I think, during each episode, depending on how mad he gets.
I went to Catholic girls' school. I had a very good training.
Oh, that explains.
And I have raised 5 children, and we now have 16 grandchildren.
Wait a minute! This country was founded because of that Bible. This country was founded because of the Word of God.
Religion is not the issue in our lifestyle. We have no test of politics or religion. We just have important, talented minds.
Let me tell you about our mind. Let me tell you about it.
It's a whole
In the Bible, it talks about a person. Give me my chance.
Go ahead,
In the Bible, it talks about a person without clothes on, running around. When Christ delivered him from the demon that was in him, immediately he put on clothes and he had his right mind returned to him.
Okay, so there was a guy who was a nudist, but the only reason that he liked to be naked was because he was possessed by a demon. And as soon as they got the demon out of the guy, then he wanted to immediately put his clothes back on.
Well, you know what I'm going to do? Go ahead, sweetheart. You want to say
What I'd like to say is, if anyone here knows Newton law, which I sort of doubt, but for every action there is a reaction.
Oh.
That's what don't be frightened. Don't be frightened. Don't be frightened. I just want to show you that people
Look
who
at
don't
his
agree with
eyes.
you
Is
still
he
love you, all right?
Thank you.
coked
And I know
out?
that you love people who don't agree with you.
Absolutely.
All right? So what I want to say is this.
Now, here it comes.
Don't knock my viewers or my audience that we don't understand Newton's
I'm your
law.
audience.
Are you? Do you watch the show
every
regularly?
night.
All right, good.
Don't knock my
I
viewers.
think there are a lot of us in here love God, love Jesus, you know, who respect the Bible, but we are not so hung up on wearing clothes all the time. That's going to make us jump into the sack.
But, you know, I hate to say, but one of my very best friends goes to nudist colonies all the time. So I did a little research, and I said, what happens? He said, we don't go there to have sex, but invariably, we have wild sex with different people every night.
Sweetheart, you can go to the
okay,
Senate. You can go to the Senate in Washington, D.C., and those...
But why bring children? Why bring...
The stream, I don't know if you guys noticed, or the stream got hit with a community thing about it's got a self-harm warning now.
Excuse me, but aren't we forgetting an issue here? Isn't this country based on freedom?
Whoa!
Aren't we allowed to do
What's
what
going
we
on
want
here?
to do in our lives? It's based on
Yeah, he looks pretty ripped.
Moral values.
Moral values.
The Bible, God.
Let me speak now. Their moral values tell them they want to
So I
go
want to
nude.
come to this young lady. We're going to meet some New Jersey nudists who were told by the state to get dressed. Hey, state.
Yeah, look at his eyes. He's really in it. Live from Atlantic City.
We got joining us at Loudmouth 2 now. We have Tony and Jack Egbert. They are Tri-State Metro Natural.
What merited the warning? A guy, Mort told a teenager to get up on a chair and hang himself, and he did.
So
it's warranted.
Naturalist,
It's warranted.
naturalist, whatever the hell. You guys call yourself the Tri-State Metro Naturalist, right?
Correct.
All right. Now, is there a difference between a nudist and a naturalist?
Not really.
None?
We all take our clothes off.
Do you?
No.
Are you guys married?
25 years.
25 years. How long you been in this business?
Well, maybe.
Taking clothes off?
I only saw the
so
one.
people could see. I know you took them off originally when you got married.
25 years plus.
25 years plus.
Yeah.
Did you guys meet as naturists?
No.
No?
But we met at camp,
You met at a camp.
but not a nature camp.
What kind of a camp?
Just a camp.
Concentration camp? I mean, what kind? Met at camp? Did you have sex before you were married?
Yes.
Yes, we did.
I love honest answers, man. I love honest answers. No one gets in trouble for telling the truth. Now, you have kids.
Yes, we do.
Your kids join you in this activity?
No, they don't.
No, but they're here.
Kids are over there?
Yes.
Why don't the kids join you?
That's their choice not to.
Okay, you guys decide not to join mom and dad? It's kind of icky looking at those bodies, wasn't it, man?
They have a choice.
They have a choice. Sure. Is there a difference between a naturist and a nudist? What is it?
Not really. We're
We all do the same thing.
We all
Egbert. The Tri-State Metro Nudists.
Actually, I only need a grape leaf.
I mean, let me ask you a question. Maybe I don't understand. Why do you take your clothes off? Is it more fun to, like, go to Disneyland or go to some place to take your clothes off? I mean, I don't understand it.
We don't advocate going just any place with your clothes up. There's a time and a place for everything.
But tell me why it's an advantage
Because
to
it
you.
feels
Ed
good. You don't
Gein.
get sand
So
in your
you're in the, if
bathing
it
suit.
feels
hear from Phyllis.
society
Phil,
that
jump in.
says if it feels good, do
the
it.
privacy of my home. I'm not against nudity with my spouse. Why with everyone else?
Wait, could I just say something? You to take your clothes off.
But you're promoting it. You're putting into the minds of these people that it's okay. It is. It's not okay.
She's so upset.
If it's okay, how come the United
Does her argument hold up, though, that it's sending a message that it's okay or that it's whatever if those people offered their choice to their kids and their kids said, we don't want to do this, and the parents were like, okay, you don't have to do it? Like, that kind of contradicts what she's saying, I think. Although, just like with the death penalty, I feel like once you involve kids, it like complicates pretty much every debate situation is completely different story whenever you're talking about being parents. Just like with the death penalty, like if it was just about the death penalty, it's pretty, I think anyway, it's like pretty clear cut. But like once you're talking about like kids, and that's like way above my debate pay grade. Bring out Bruno with the moon dogs.
Geneva, Switzerland says that they have to start protecting women and children against you type of people. It's the United Nations, dummy.
Honey, wait a second.
One of the few industrialized countries in this world that does not have clothing optional designated beaches. Many countries all over the world
If that's your argument, then there was an article in the New York Times that said, wait a minute, that said that in Rome, and I go to Rome and Spain every summer, in Rome,
very typical of the people who can afford to go to Rome.
Oh yeah, there's that cat. One guy keeps popping up.
I can give you a better vacation than my...
Like now, in modern times, I think people would turn on Mort from every side in this argument because conservatives would want him to side 100% with, you know, the with the Bible view on it or whatever. And then, well, I guess he wouldn't really have very many fans on the other side in modern times. Back then, though, he did have his fan base did cover a varied like political view, but it was predominantly conservatives.
Jacuzzi, sweetheart.
according to what you said, I'm sure of it. I'm trying to I'm trying to say, what I'm trying to say is that in Rome now, there's a $350 fine per person if they take their top off. Because they want, that's where it is. In the Italian Riviera, because they want to promote decency for women and children. It's just
They want to promote decency. You can wear a G-string, but please cover your nips.
You don't know. Tell me when you've been there.
Phyllis says that's why Rome fell before. Am I right? Phyllis says that's why Rome fell before.
Well, there's a lot of other reasons
You bet
for the
your life.
fall of the
How
Roman
about,
Empire, not
how about
just
a lot
taking
of...
the clothes
Yeah,
off.
right. How about the okaying of promiscuity? That's why Rome fell.
I agree with you 100%. But in the nudist colony, wait a minute, the nudist colony in Indiana, according to the sheriff, there was a lot of homosexuality.
Have you, Diane?
Yeah.
Let me ask Diane. Have you ever seen nudists in action, and do you think?
Oh,
they're
Mort's
looking
having
for
a
little
ball
more,
with this one.
Action than they say they are.
I think they're looking for the action.
Have you ever seen them in action?
No. I could get in if I wanted to go. I choose not to go. I have moral values. I know you do not understand what that word means, but
I have moral values.
according to God's word.
Otherwise, I would be taking
No, wait a second.
here.
Wait a second. She says she has moral values, and I agree. You do.
I do.
Right? I think you do. They have moral values that may be somewhat different than yours. I have moral values, all right? I don't go around abusing women, slugging.
So if we're this is going to oversimplify the argument. But let's say we're only dealing with like, consenting adults. What's the argument against the way it's being portrayed by the people that are representing the lifestyle here? They're saying that they recognize that it's not something for everyone, and they don't try to, it's not like they're out there recruiting or grifting to get people to be part of their lifestyle. And they're only practicing it within areas that are specifically like exist for it to happen within, or in the privacy of their own homes. Like, what's the argument against it at that point? Aren't you just kind of like being nosy? Aren't you just being a nosy person?
Raping them or anything else. Huh? No, sweetheart, I don't. No. Give the lady credit. She's so happy she survived that stage. Let me, go ahead, Phyllis, you want to say something?
I have a copy of it.
You're going to really want to say something in the next segment when I drop these.
Well, my stance on this is that, again, if we're just talking consenting adults, people should be able to do what they want to do, especially when they're as respectful about it as these people are. I mean, they're saying, like, we're not trying to get naked on stage. We're not trying to do whatever. We just prefer to be naked when we're on whatever premises. I don't really get the pushback on it, to be honest. Like, let people, if there's no way that's negatively impacting that woman's life. Well, other than maybe if she's just bitter because other people are having fun.
I have a copy of an article that was in the California Magazine in 1984
For phone
talking
presentation.
about their USA pageant at the Tree Farm. Tree House Button Ranch.
Go ahead.
The Miss Nude International. All through the article it talks about how there's no sexual connotation, that the scantily dressed bring on more turn on than no dress.
They do.
But
they do.
And at the same time, like, I support this woman's right to go to Walmart or to go to public places and not have to see people's genitals. Although with modern fashion, we're kind of, we're pretty much there, but you know what I mean? Like, I think you should be able to go to Walmart and not have to see somebody's butthole. And I think that you should be able to show your butthole within areas designated for that activity. Everyone should be happy in that scenario, to me.
They contradict themselves because they also have competition with little cute outfits like a ballet dancing outfit, fishing outfits, ice skating outfits, water skiing, softball, archery, aerobics, and weightlifting outfits.
Oh no, they play naked softball.
Let me ask Diane. Wait a second. Let me ask Diane. Fran, zip it a second. I want to ask Diane.
Jesus is the reason. What's up, F-Wood?
From a purely physical point of view.
I mean, there's really no other way to approach the way that these two women are looking at this issue, is that no one is trying to infringe on their rights in any way whatsoever. They could go and live a happy life and never be nude and never, orgasm, or never play naked softball, never, go to naked bingo, and just live their lives. But instead, they're spending their lives trying to Karen what other people are doing, which is weird to me.
Right? Do you think it's humanly possible to put naked men and naked women together without having the poor guys pole vaulting down the beach?
Or yoga pants.
Not necessarily they are the right types of people, but I think that these type of places promote perverts.
That's right.
And in Indiana,
wait a minute.
In Indiana, they're making $350,000 a weekend.
You'll find
How much do you make a weekend?
You'll find in our places that there is more law enforcement, more security than any place. Everyone that's there, besides the many ministers, the priests, and everybody else from the middle class of society that comes there. Everybody watches for everybody.
All right, I'll tell you what. I want the audience to come down. We're going to ask the little...
I mean, to me, it's inarguable that what she's saying is true. If you look at where the biggest nudist slash swinger location is, it's ultra, ultra, ultra conservative politically and otherwise socially, but it's at the Villages in Florida, like without question. Like those people are really get down with it. They know how to party at the Villages.
Nudies to bear with us while we see if they're the first stop on the road to Sodom and Gomorrah.
How is that? I'm a victim of someone in another state being naked. Like, that's so weird. Let people live. Let people enjoy life.
Incidentally, before I go any further, let me promote Phyllis Miller's new book. I don't do that on the show, but being this is the type of show that we're doing, her new book is called Inch by Inch.
Oh, wow. Let me see if I can get that book.
She says it has nothing to do with nudity, but isn't that a convenient title, huh? All right. Let me go to Phyllis, as a matter of fact. Phyllis, you've said that the widespread practice of nudism has led to the decline of some civilization. I mean, I'm not crazy about cellulite, but how bad can it be?
Well, I visited Pompeii in Italy when I was a teenager. And when they did the excavation, they found the nude bodies and all kinds of contortions.
You would find nude bodies in an excavation after a volcanic eruption. They are burned off, all right?
I don't
well,
see
they
it.
found them.
Well, good. Did they find any of them having intercourse?
And other things.
And they found them having intercourse and other things. I would imagine.
Proof of them. Proof. Orgies.
I would imagine if I announced to this audience right now that we were going to be attacked by a nuclear weapon in a few minutes, there would be a certain number of us who would pray, and there would be a certain number of us that they would find in groups.
Is this woman really judging people who were being like killed in a volcano because they tried to blast off one last time? What a selfish person.
Peanut butter sandwich.
Well, to be perfectly honest with you, you'd probably find me praying that I was in one of the groups.
I see nothing wrong with these young ladies that are sitting here.
Oh, look at this guy, Memphis manager.
This lady and this lady, they're the perverts. Because they're the perverts.
Oh, wait a second. No, I don't think so. I think there's some validity in saying, you don't want the kids running around, all right? Not because there's anything wrong with the kids running around, but because you might have some sickos, all right, who'll go out just to take a look at
Consenting adults. If they want to do it, let them do it, but let them leave their kids home.
Do you understand what the word pervert means?
Yeah, you.
Big Vito laying it down. He's pointing over at her now.
You can get a job writing our new dictionary next year.
You know what your problem is? You ain't got it since Eisenhower was president.
You ain't got any since Eisenhower. Ooh, look at her. It's true, too. Man, that was a walk-off home run, dude.
So I have nothing to say to you.
What's your IQ?
He got to her big time.
Let me ask Diane a question. Let me ask Diane a question. We know, all right, we know we can all have some fun with this, but really, what's the long-term impact on a kid's first real memory of dear old dad and his hairy body and mom's kind of...
You know something? If you're walking around in your house and you don't have any clothes on and it's your family, and if you choose to live like that, it's not for me to judge you. What I'm saying is that you have people with perverted sexual appetites that come into these places. They come into these places.
Find them outside
a
know
nudist
something?
resort
What-
much
She looks like a
more
deranged
than
Joan
you
London.
But what happens when they go on the street? What happens when they go on the street? There is statistics saying
See you later, ATF
rape
Media.
happens, a lot of other stuff happens.
One at a time, one at a time.
Sexually aroused in your camp.
Have you gotten sexually aroused looking at these bodies in here today?
I'm not sexually aroused with that.
Honey, I don't care if you get sexually aroused with me. Believe me. All right, you're sitting next to a very young, lovely young lady. Are you sexually aroused?
No, not at all, sir.
You're sick.
You're sick.
You're sitting,
It is
you're
frowned
sitting next to
upon.
the guy in the American flag. You're down.
I mean, like, some of these people might think you're, like, walking around erect or something all the time, but, like, that's really frowned upon from, like, all the documentaries that I've seen. Even the old, like, 50s nudist camp movies always, like, were very portrayed it, like, very wholesome, just playing, like, you know, volleyball and shit. But I think there are, like, I think you would get some social, like, consequences if you were being, like, creepy in one of those kind of places.
Are you sexually aroused?
Well, the flag is my country.
I'm talking about, like, a resort or a camp. If you're at Hedonism 2 or you're at, like, a swing club, like, that's an entirely different situation.
It's my flag excites me. The flag is my country, and my country is freedom, and I love it. And I think everyone has the right to be his own person in their own country. Freedom of choice. And the freedom of choice.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Would you agree with me, though? Would you agree with me, as Diane and Phyllis have said, that maybe where we draw the line is with kids, consenting adults, maybe is the answer? Huh?
Yeah.
All right, you say no.
Whoa, she was super tan. Yikes.
When you teach that nudity is wrong and evil and disgusting,
Can't stop a warm breeze.
sexuality, that's where you get your rights.
There you go. It was worth the wait. Concentrated dynamite.
12-year-old son that I do not teach that nudity is wrong when he is soon to be married and with his spouse. It is a sin publicly. It is a sin publicly.
Wait a second, Fran, zip it. Wait a second, Diane, zip it a second. Has your 12-year-old son ever seen you in the nude?
Yes, a couple of times.
Whoa, wait a minute, lady. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Let me respond, people. It was by accident.
Oh,
It
sure.
was by accident. I didn't run and hide and tell him, naughty, naughty, naughty.
What'd you do?
I was not shameful of that. I just excused myself. He was a little embarrassed, but I did not make him feel as though it was an accident.
Wait a second. Didn't he think it was strange that you could
record
see him in
keeping.
the tub while you washed him and maybe
I couldn't
cleaned
see
his
him in the
genitals?
tub after he was about 3
Have you ever
years
seen him in
old.
the tub?
As a young child,
Who washed him?
I did.
Did you wash his genitals?
Yes. That's a mother's place to do that.
Well, if it's a mother's place to do that, why isn't it necessarily a son's or a daughter's place to be able to...
See, and Mort not taking one side and sticking 100% to it, where he's like he's legitimately like asking questions that even he said he thinks the line is at consenting adults. So he agrees with her, at least on some level. But then he wants to have this conversation. And I mean, now you could never do that. Like, he would be canceled real quick.
See their parents in the nude. What's wrong with that?
Because, and I'd like to quote a psychiatrist and stuff.
I hate psychiatrists, all right?
I hate psychiatrists.
A Christian psychiatrist. A born-again Christian psychiatrist.
A born-again Christian psychiatrist. That really impresses me. Could care less about born-again Christians. Go ahead, pal.
Yeah. I just think the treehouse people should be able to do what
We
they
were
want,
just
but I
talking
think
about
they should
your
draw the line
dong
at the
record
kids. I think
keeping,
There should
Hurricane.
at least be an age set for the kids to reach before, and then they make the decision themselves. Because I don't think this was forced upon them, and it shouldn't be forced upon children.
The future of our unit movement is within our children, but it doesn't mean that they don't have their own choice.
But they don't have a mind for that yet.
Yes,
Children,
they
until
do.
they reach a certain age,
My
will listen to
youngest is
anything you tell them.
25. We've been nudists for 25 years. He was a babe in arms when we first became nudists.
When he went into puberty, he at that point in time had his choice, just like all the other 4 children. They could go forward with the nudist lifestyle, or they didn't have to.
Until a certain age.
They chose.
That guy's outfit on the stage, that like Colonel Sanders suit, is outlandish. This guy's hair, by the way, wow. Is this Bradley Cooper time traveling?
They chose to stay with the movement, and they're now raising their children, which now is 16 grandchildren that we have.
That's fine,
We feel it's very important.
You should
to
not
show
expose
them
the little
properly.
children to this. They don't have
Amen. He's right. He's right. You're wrong.
Well, he would know the flaccid measurements. There'd still be some mystery. Are you having problems, Paro? The Flamin' Caucasians. Oh my gosh.
Let's go right in. Let's start with the audience. You're standing right next to Diane. You have anything to say?
She hasn't gotten any since Eisenhower.
Whatever she does at home with her kids, that's fine. Or what anyone does with their kids, that's fine. That's how you become intimate and close with your children and your family. But I think that it's okay if there are designated areas where people who don't want to be involved can avoid. It's fine. Designate those areas as nudist beaches, nudist areas. And then you don't have to be bothered. You don't have to be bothered. If you don't cross that sign that says nudist beach, you're fine.
Okay, anywhere. That's just opening the door. Nudism is not for everybody, and if we all knew, nobody would know who the enemy was, and there'd be no wars.
There'd be no wars.
I'm asking you, why did they close the nudist beach in Sarasota? Why are they closing the nudist beach in Rome? There are no rednecks in Rome, Italy.
We're not that familiar with the beaches, but it possibly could be.
People have freedom of choice.
Real nudist.
Wait, one at a time, damn it.
People have freedom of choice.
Now she
Like your
speaks.
resort?
Yes.
It's like your resort.
I'm sorry, but this lady that is arguing against it, to me, is just way too wrapped up in it. She knows like every nudist beach in the world that's on the edge of... What has her so upset about nudity?
That's fine. If you want to be that, that's fine. I could go do
Let me hear
that
from this
for a
gentleman now. I want to get everyone a chance here.
I'll probably be more truthful than anybody. These girls are hot. They make me hot. They make me smile. But I'm not going to hurt them. It doesn't make me a pervert for liking it.
And, you know, I think the real problem...
Hey, Pomp Fleur.
The real problem with the sickos abusing women and raping that is the sickos are...
I thought about you the other day, Pomp Fleur. I listened to a Cornette clip about the Tommy Wildfire Rich fan club back in the day.
Right? Never get a chance to get out and see what a woman looks like. Maybe they then wouldn't be...
Yeah, as far as the Einstein sisters over here, Phyllis Diller and Diane Lewis, or Diane Lewis, or whatever your name
the
is.
microphone for you to...
I think that both of you are going way overboard. I mean, you know, you believe in the Bible, and I don't want to knock the
Whoa,
Bible
what's this
'cause
guy
it's a sacred
wearing?
book, but you
Is that
can't
Paul
believe
Heyman?
everything and live your life by it because the Bible condones slavery, the Bible says a lot of other things, and you have to live in moderation. There's nothing wrong with people who are going to go nude in a private area on the side. They're not bothering anybody. If you want to go after the perverts,
This guy's great on the mic. Wow.
that are raping people, that are going after the children, like Margaret and Michael, these people aren't harming anybody. What do you want from them?
Wait a minute, not harming anybody.
That's what I was thinking, man. This guy's cuts a great promo. Look at him going. Look at him. Oh, my God. Jeez. Oh, man, he really got over with the crowd. Jeez.
Now, all I want to say is that if we say the Bible is partly right, I believe the Bible is truly right. It's totally the Word word of God.
All right, bottom line,
The bottom line here is that these people, what they're promoting, and those of you that agree with them, are a rebellious people.
Come on. Oh my gosh.
Morton, the people are here. The people are speaking. The people are speaking. Go ahead, one at a time, pal. Go.
First of all, my grandmother's not a pervert. She loves your legs.
How come it's always grandmothers who love my legs?
Looking for grandsons. I wanted to say that I'm glad these two women feel that way because
is that Ted Bundy on the mic?
I wouldn't want to see on the beach naked.
How'd you get in line again? How'd you get in line again? Let this man speak.
Is that Gary Delabate?
First of all,
Baba Booey, Baba Booey.
We've heard all the expert bull. Let's go some feet.
First of all, I'd like to know where I can join one of these nudist colonies.
How do you join one?
You call the American Sunbathing Association in Florida, in Kissimmee,
Is that
Florida,
Bill Watts?
and they will give you the information of any of the clubs in your area.
Okay, enough promo.
Yeah, he was great in that.
This is like the movie The Last Temptation. You're going to create more awareness and involvement in it. So why don't you just leave it alone and go after something that's more important?
The perverts, the incest people.
The incest people. Uh-oh.
On a 1 to 10, this is not my top subject.
This is a choice. It's a choice.
Oh, man, it's getting heated again.
And maybe visit a nudist beach and see what it's about. You don't even know what it's about.
Don't you think this would be cathartic to go to and like be part? I mean, these people aren't even like people on the show, and like, but they're getting like this big say in it. I just think it would be so like it would be a really positive experience to go to one of these things and kind of get heated with some other people and hash shit out. I mean, even if I don't know. I guess none of these people really seem to me like they're super trying to change anybody's mind, which helps a lot. If you know you're just going to make your case and you're not trying to win or whatever. But I think it'd be really cathartic to go and like do this kind of stuff.
We'll be back with the people again. You experts, sit down. I want to hear the people. Come on.
But unfortunate, which I guess we'll never. Well, I mean, Mort definitely jumped the shark, but he was only around for a very short time. But I wonder if he would have stuck around if it would have been like Springer, where it got to the point that it was just like just completely down to a formula. I feel like Mort has a lot of improv in what he does, and like as far as who he focuses on. Like I think if somebody really gets the crowd going, then he plays into that and gives them more time. And I feel like on Jerry Springer, everything seemed like it, especially toward like the later seasons, seemed like it was like really timed down to like, you always knew like, okay, this segment, then this is going to happen. And then just the story changed. Does that make sense? It lost its like chaotic energy.
Go this young man. Go ahead, pal.
Yeah, Mort, I like to say America's free and people should be liberated here. And that means clothing,
Tell him,
sex,
Bill Watts.
whatever it has.
Wait a second. Liberated as long as it's not hurting anyone else.
Correct. And that should be on any street in the 52 states.
Street?
Any street or beach.
In the 52 states, Canada and Puerto Rico.
I'll buy the beach. I'll buy the beach. But I don't want public, I don't want public restaurants, things. I don't want to walk into some restaurant where, and please, I don't mean this as a
Nice, just NFL hat.
Been sitting on a chair.
Of course not, Mort. What I'm saying is not in restaurants, but I'm saying on the streets, on the sidewalks, anywhere.
Listen to the crowd go after this guy.
you talk about people that are perverts and stuff. Well, for 25 years they've done it.
Yes,
I have
definitely.
two younger sisters. They never asked us to pose nude with them. They don't have any kiddie films of us nude. I mean, they let us do what we want. We've had our freedom of choice.
I do agree with you, and it just comes down to like personal preference, but I'm a big fan of both. But I feel like Jerry Springer eventually turned into a tour guide where it was like, okay, hi folks, I'm here. Here's the introduction. Meet the people. Here's the surprise. Here's the fight. We're moving on to the next story. Whereas Mort is like, he's the animal in the cage, and everybody else is just put in there to, you know, to interact with him. So it's just a whether you want more of like a story-driven show or more of like a character-driven show. I'm also very high, so I could be overthinking it.
I mean, you want to pick on perverts just like this gentleman here said. Go pick on the big time.
It's been a great week in Atlantic City, gang. I'm glad y'all got naked with us.
I'm here for you, Eileen. Is that true, Junk? Well, we might as well watch the credits. You never know. Oh yeah, I don't blame it on Jerry at all. I think anybody, when you have to do the same thing over and over, like that's why I'm saying, like, I don't even think I think Mort would have turned into some type of that if he didn't quit or whatever. But yeah, I don't blame it on Jerry Springer. I just think it's inevitable when you get to a certain, it's like The Simpsons. I don't know that people think The Simpsons could be good or could make a comeback or whatever. It's not going to happen. Like, it's just a comfort show, which I think what Jerry Springer was for a lot of people. When you talk to people about Jerry Springer, a lot of them are like, oh, I was homesick from school, or I'd run home after school to watch it. You know what I mean? Like, it's like a comfort show. Yeah, BB, I saw that. But I mean, I love Springer, though. Great show. Okay, I don't really know what this one is, but from the looks of it, it looks like they just brought back, like, a bunch of the popular guests, and I don't really know, like, I don't know what the nature of the show is going to be, but I saw that it looked like a bunch of guests I recognized, and Dr. D, David Schultz, is one of them, so I thought we had to see that.
All family members, viewer discretion is advised.
Man, these are all quiet as hell. Oh, wow.
Okay. Here we go now, gang. Wait a second. I'm going to welcome you to the first annual Morton
Whoa, what's
Downey
up with the
Jr.
hair?
All-Star Awards show. Tonight, you're going to meet the first Morton Downey All-Star team with 6 of your favorite guests. Now, these are the guests who received the most mail on and the most mail from phone calls. In some cases, some of the most obscene phone calls we've ever had. However, you'll meet everyone from the putrid pornographer to the best-dressed man and woman. They're one.
So Al Goldstein.
All right, plus a cast of other eccentrics. Now, then we'll unleash these crazy on each other. and see how tough they really are. A Morton Downey Jr. All-Star in action against
Oh,
each other,
wow.
wrestling on this stage, grabbing each other.
All Stars. Morton Downey Jr. All Stars. Yeah, I can't.
All right.
I've got it turned like all the way up. Let me see if I can figure something else out.
Now, so, our
Let's see.
first, please, our first Morton Downey All-Star Award goes to the best dressed man and woman, Paula Sinclair. May we see Paula Sinclair in action on an earlier show, please. I would like to introduce our first guest, Paula Sinclair. Paula, would you come up, please? All right, hold on. Would Paula Sinclair kindly come to home base?
Yeah, I can't do anything. I can't make it any louder, unfortunately.
You're gonna make it work. It's gonna mess me up.
No, you gotta wear it. You gotta wear it. You gotta wear it.
You messed up my makeup.
You gotta wear it. Gotta wear it. You just broke it. Take it in your teeth. Hold that in your teeth. Sit down. Now, do you think my wife should have divorced me for her? Here, ribbon. All right. All right, now, let's moving on. And incidentally, one of you lucky guys tonight will get a date with Paula. We have selected the member of our studio audience who will be dating Paula already. I saw you the other night at our party.
Yeah, it was fun time.
Oh, okay. Well, let me go. Let me introduce out. Our next award goes to a woman I just love to hate, all right? The putrid pornographer, Diane Hansen. Now, here's a little clip of her debut on the Morton Downey Show. Let's see Diane.
Oh, I thought they were going to bring Al Goldstein back. Remember him? I figured he was the pornographer.
Oh, I was married for 5 years.
Hey, baby, I tell you, I wouldn't even look at a tramp like you for all the money in the world.
Damn, man, he came dropping the fire.
Would Diane Hansen please come out and receive her award? That lucky medal. All right. Our third All-Star recipient gets the nicest killer I ever met award. And here's how Gino Gentile, on his first Downey program, reacted. May we see Gino, please? So,
That
come here.
feels good knowing that
Strap
if a police
Chubby in
officer
here,
and
will
him
ya?
and somebody's killed,
Strap Chubby in here.
someone who doesn't care about life.
Let me ask the audience. Let me ask the audience. Does he fry? Wait a second. Does he fry? Does he fry? Or does he go free? Fry 'em! All right. Come on in, Gino Gentile. Receive your medal.
You really must hate Dukakis all the way from Boston. Yeah.
There you go, pal. Sit down. Wait, let me see.
I'm going to get him for you.
Oh. A wonderful,
Well, I mean, he's putting together a regular Avengers here.
beloved, two-time murderer. All right. Now, recipient number 4 is a real... Recipient number 4. Incidentally, she happens to be the publisher of Jugs magazine.
Whoa. Jugs magazine.
Recipient number 4. He will be excited when he gets out here because this guy's a real sicko. This guy spent a fortune waxing away the hours, all right, to phone sex operators. Now let's find out.
Oh, remember that guy? Remember the guy that I bet it's the he looked like a real weirdo, but he was the guy who had run up all the bills up for the phone sex.
Exactly how much this guy spent on getting the old. Go to this guy's face. Randy, how much was your bill, pal?
$12,633.
Let me tell you. Let me ask you. Wait a second. Now this guy got sucked in, all right? Let me ask you. I'm not being confrontational, all right? When you'd have these phone sex calls, would you masturbate?
Sometimes, yes.
All right. Well, wait a second. That's what the hell they're for, all right, for the most part. Frankly, what I don't understand is $12,000 worth of masturbation and you're still fat.
Jugs is a quality publication, of course. I only read the articles.
Would Randy the masturbator ever? Now, I sure hope after shaking hands with him I don't get hair on my palm. Our next happens to be one of our favorite audience members.
Bubbles from Trailer Park Boys.
And she was also the recipient of lots of phone calls.
12 grand.
You'll recall on one of these shows she sat up there screaming and terrorizing the audience, shooting the bird to everyone. All right? Her name is Alice. Let's watch Alice, please. Take that, go right up in their face.
That's a propaganda phrase. Open your book.
Alice, come on in and receive your medal.
What a group.
I get around me. I'll make sure I've got to go to the west side with this. Why not?
Absolutely.
Mort, the only thing I'm disappointed that you're
Speak
not...
right into my navel.
The only thing I'm disappointed that they took you off at 9 o'clock and you're going at 11:30. What the hell is this?
What's he doing with her hand? That was weird.
All right. Our final recipient, our final all-star. Let me see if I can...
Yeah, Mort's content brained.
Ugh. The toughest guy we've ever met, all right?
Dr. D,
This guy
baby.
Doesn't just drink water. Watch what he does, all right?
She did look
See
like
Dr.
Where's the
D.
Beef lady.
Come on.
Put your body nowhere.
I've been putting my body on the line.
You're crying, man. You ain't never done nothing to nobody. This guy's crying. Let me tell you, I went to the top
in every league, AWA, NWA, WWF. I've been there. I made the money, and I was kicked out, but you don't hear me.
Oh, you know how I was super careful and skipped over anything that could even be possibly seen as AWA? Apparently, the 3 seconds of footage when I was like going to click to skip ahead was enough, and like WWE claimed the entire video from yesterday.
Here crying about it. I didn't need no benefits. Right. I had money. I could buy what I wanted because I was good. I produced and I did it. And I ain't crying about it. You're the one crying about it. Anyone out here, piece of
That's how you throw water on somebody.
And I ain't gonna hit you because you're gonna sue me. That's all you are. All right, doctor. Sit down. You're a piece of garbage.
All right, bring Dr. D in, please.
Dude, he had that special territory guy like believability, you know what I mean? Like I don't even know when I was a kid if I would have booed Dr. D or not.
Have you got a mic I can go again?
Oh yeah, I bet you something next. I bet you one next set. Okay. All right.
Look at this crew. Oh my god.
Now, next, we're going to see how tough these All-Stars are.
Yeah, he's on the episode we just saw a clip from, the wrestling one, which I think is on, if you go to my Trash TV playlist, it's in there somewhere. We watched that one. But there's also another one, I think in the first Morton Downey Jr. episode on that playlist, that's where it talks about he's there strictly as a bounty hunter.
With each other. Stand by. Let's go round our All-Star.
We got a mouthy old woman. We've got the publisher of Jugs magazine. We got the phone sex operator, Dr. D, and a trans person, right?
Bench here. We'll start with Dr. D. Doc, let me just ask you a question. What do you think of your fellow All-Stars here, Paula Sinclair?
No more
Any
aid, I
chance
know.
that,
I've got to
maybe
be really
later on
careful
tonight
with it.
I'll find you in fishnet stockings and 4-inch pumps.
Well, to be fair, though, for me, it was more of like, I know now, like, I have to. I don't care if they claim it after the fact, but that makes me think, like, are they gonna like suspend the stream for like 5 seconds of AWA? So I just got to be like, I got to be on my game on that fast forward button.
No, I don't think so. I tell you what, I hate to be a party pooper here, but if you want to save a lot of trouble here on this show, you can come in with a bulldozer and hog tie all 4 of these people right here and put them in a bulldozer and dump them in the garbage can.
Oh, wow. Wow. Just get a bulldozer and pick all these people up and put them in the garbage. Yeah, all anything that's got the ring that shows the AWA ring, yeah, unfortunately. Because it's literally like, like 4 seconds of a clip, like 3 or 4 seconds of a segment, and that was it. And then I fast forwarded it and they claimed the entire video. OVW is pretty much out too, because they actually claimed like the in-ring stuff. It wasn't just the bumper music and ads this time.
Wears a wig and a man who bleaches his hair, Doctor.
Diane, let's get a woman's point of view. Diane, now you tell me what you think of Paula. Does she make a good look?
But like if someone defends an AWA belt in Memphis, as long as it happens in the Memphis studio, like we're good. Or in the promo room.
I think Paula makes a sexy-looking lady, and that is not... One thing you can say, when a man dresses in drag, he knows the way a woman should look for a man. He's got makeup on, he's got hair on, and he is making himself...
Stossel deserved it for sure. He baited him, and he got what he asked for.
I have a producer who does that all the time. One of my producers picks up, what'd you say, our trans what?
Transvestite.
Transvestite. One of my producers picks up transvestites all the time when he's had 4 or 5 drinks.
What?
Right now.
But I'll tell you more.
Let me go to Alice. Let me go to Alice, all right?
Is he spilling tea?
Alice. You're not fooling me. You're a woman, right?
That's right, all the way.
All the way.
As a real estate person in the great city of New York, would you rent a 1-bedroom apartment to her if she walked into you?
Could I do it standing up? Hell no!
Oh my God! Wow. I try to pick stuff that I think is going to be like lighthearted, whatever, and it always ends up being like disturbing or angry.
Randy.
Fortunately, I live in Philadelphia where I have legal protection, and Philadelphia is more enlightened than New York.
You got
let me
legal
come to your
protection
point.
here in the city of New York, too. But who the hell wants creeps like you walking around and bringing on
How about freedom of choice?
No,
How about freedom of choice?
afraid of bull.
No, how about freedom of
You
choice?
gotta go in the closet.
Freedom of choice.
Yes, some freedom.
Hey, we have rights to it.
You ain't got nothing.
Right,
That
right,
was a $12,000 phone bill.
That's not what I'm talking.
You need to be
We have rights to it.
You run up a $12,000 phone bill, boy.
Come on.
Amazing. And we're not even we're only a third of the way through, and we're already at this point. I can't believe he said get a bulldozer and pick all these people up and put them in the garbage. Guy dressed up like Waldo in the crowd.
Let me, Paula, I wasn't supposed to tell you this, all right, but I'm going to tell you.
Hardly wait.
I found out about it earlier.
Harley race.
Just so you can build to it. A 2-time murderer, Gino, wants to take you out
Hey,
for
listen.
dinner.
Hey, listen. Since I'm a silent killer here, I got to move out of here. Excuse me. Sit over there, will you? I got to break this chain somehow. I'm not that bad.
Gino, let me ask you.
I get close
As
to
a-
Alice.
That's it. That's
He's trying to move. He's seeing the writing on the wall. He's trying to move down to the other side.
the man for you.
As a 2-time convicted killer and a man who spent several years behind bars, would you rather serve a life term or spend a weekend with Paula at the Valentine Motel?
Hey, put me back in the electric chair.
Let me introduce, if you will, another one of our audience members, a gentleman by the name of Michael Weinberger. Michael, you're somewhat of an all-star yourself, I think, pal, having been on our show before. Do you think Gino deserves a choice, or should he have spent the rest of his life in jail?
I don't think he should have been spending the rest of his life in jail, not after the first conviction for intentional murder. It's very hard for me to think. Let me ask Gino himself. Can I ask you this question? After the first conviction for intentional murder, can you give us one convincing reason why he should not have been executed?
An accident?
You gotta understand. Wait a second, Michael. Wait a second. In fairness to Gino, his defense were he and his buddy were shooting beer cans off each other's heads, and he accidentally put one to his buddy's eye.
Oh my God. Accidental drunken shooting.
Truly, Gino.
Remember,
Mort put a medal on this guy.
booze will break the unity of the family, and it will also kill the person next to you, especially when you play with an unloaded gun.
So, Gino, even you support
Play with
the
an
death penalty
unloaded
for intentional
gun.
murder,
I
right?
feel if it's somebody's mother or,
I mean,
it's
but
correct.
do you?
Of course,
Do you?
yes, I do.
You do?
Some
Well,
of
so
them
then,
do deserve
if you
it. Some of
support
them
the
probably-
death penalty...
Some of them probably want to be executed, but system keeps on holding them up year after year.
If you support the death penalty for intentional murder,
This guy could be a good jobber, I think.
why shouldn't anyone else?
Oh, wait a second. Dr. D.
Gino
Dr. D,
Gentile.
You were a professional wrestler, but your day job, of course, is hunting down the scum and vermin that slip through the police dragnet. How much force would you use if you had to hunt down old Tats Gentile here?
Well, it wouldn't take too much to hunt him down. He's marked pretty good, a lot of tattoos, and he's got a, I mean, you know, he's built good, and he said he's not hard to find. So I'd find him pretty easy, and I'd take him in pretty easy. We established that here a while back, you know. And as far as you're saying, convicted murderers should be intentionally murdered. If a guy goes out and kills a guy, or a guy sells drugs, and a police officer is killed in a drug transaction, I think they should be murdered. Absolutely. I think these
I mean, not ordinarily. I don't think, because it's. I mean, we're watching it to like discuss the things that are going on the show, and I also think a lot of social media companies changed their policies on hate speech in that regard too. But I don't know for sure that YouTube did.
perverts should be
And as a matter of
Oh, because there was like a scene at the beginning. There was like a dramatic scene that involved like telling a guy to hang himself.
As a matter of fact, I think you and I would agree that would save lives, because here we've got a two-time murderer. So if after the first intentional murder there's a death penalty, well, after the first intentional murder, if there's a death penalty, we're actually saving lives in the long run.
Who's a two-time murderer? I missed that.
The fellow.
I don't think he's committed to.
Like they could maybe, if I were saying a bunch of transphobic stuff, then maybe they could strike that. I don't know, but I don't think as far as like just watching content for like, you know, commentary and criticism, I don't think that can get you in trouble.
Murders. I think you're wrong on that.
You're not a two-time murderer?
No, just the one time.
Just the
So when
one
he
time.
does it again, we'll all push for the death penalty, okay?
I don't know if I want to wait the second time.
Wait a second, Diane. Wait a second, let me ask a question. Gino, let me ask a question. Manslaughter.
Yeah.
Served time, right? You were accused of another murder, right?
No, it was, it was I did 7 months, they call it negligent homicide.
Oh, negligent homicide was
Negligent
it?
homicide. It consists, yeah.
But two guys did die. Two guys did die.
Well, hey, if you were going to get stabbed by somebody, I mean, what are you going to do, stand there and get stabbed at? I mean, I fought back. I'm sorry, people
Good
of
for
America,
you for fighting back. They want you to fight back. Let me go to Diane. Let me come back to Diane. Let's go to Diane, all right? As my favorite pornographer. Where'd you let me go here? My favorite pornographer, I'm sure you come across some pretty sleazy types. Do you think Dr. D is an asset to society or just another criminal with a license to...
Hold it. Now, you make a statement. No, you make a statement. Hang on a minute. Let me come back on that statement. You call me a... No, your mama's... And your daddy's...
Oh.
Having you and not teaching you right from wrong. Because I'm going to tell you, hon. I'm going to tell you. If you... Hey, you shut up, fat boy. Hey, you shut up.
Here we go.
Don't think I won't. And let me tell you
Oh
something.
my God.
I don't care if you're the last woman on earth.
Did you see that Jugs lady pull old boy down into her? She's like, you don't want no Dr. D.
You couldn't bum a date off of me. I got a dog at home. I can shave it, make it walk backwards look better than you. Now, you ain't got nothing to say about nobody. You ain't got to just sit down. I don't want to talk to you.
Dr. D, let me ask you a question. If I murder somebody, the vigilante comes after me, he can go to prison. What is the difference between you and a vigilante?
Well, okay, hold on. I can answer that.
What is the difference between a vigilante?
I'll tell you. I've got a lot of hormones in my body.
Too much
I got
pills.
hormones running wild in my body, hon. They're all natural. But you ain't getting none of them. You or that freak ain't getting none either.
What is the difference between you and a vigilante?
Okay, first thing, shut up and I'll talk, okay? Now, first thing.
Why on earth? I mean, I understand, like, I'm saying, like, kayfabe, I guess, looking at it would be like, Why on earth do they have the guy who's the only reason we know who he is because he spent $12,000 to masturbate? That's the guy who's arguing like death penalty policy with Dr. D. David Schultz. Like what a keynote TV moment.
Thing. Me and a vigilante. First thing, you never learn about me and a vigilante because nobody come after you. They wrap you up and take you to the joint because everybody's begging for people like you and you in the joint. So they need people like you two up there. And you can bring them money or food or whatever they need to keep their cigarettes, to keep everybody happy because he make the whole thing. No, what you need is some upbringing. You know what I mean? You need some upbringing because you ain't nothing but a slut. A slut.
Wow. Wow. He wouldn't last 2 weeks in the joint.
This guy wouldn't last 2 weeks.
That's right. That's right.
This guy would be toilet paper.
That's right.
We gotta keep this guy out of the joint because this guy supports my industry.
Let me,
This guy's
Diane.
Wait a second. Wait a second. I support your industry. Bull.
No.
Oh boy, here we go.
You support us with your dollars.
Hey.
You put us down with your mouth, and your wallet keeps us in business.
Yep. True.
That's now.
True.
I have joined, and Lloyd, I'll tell you this right now. On the last show, a couple shows, months ago, you had the 777th precinct on this show. I am now a member of that organization. We are going to stamp out pornographers like her. We want to get rid of them.
Me standing in line, he said, I would love some bondage-style phone sex.
That was a joke.
They're all turning on each other. This is so fantastic.
Oh.
I thought this would be like a really wholesome clip show or something.
All right.
Come on,
He wants bondage. He wants bondage-style phone sex. We'll tie him up. Get someone to call him next. Stay with us.
UHF.
UHF.
All right. Let me go to Randy first, our phone sex aficionado here. Randy, looking at you, I can tell why you needed phone sex instead of the real thing. All right, but truthfully, why $12,000 in phone sex? And are you still calling those lines?
No, I'll tell you, Lloyd. I think what happened is, and a lot of people I've talked to the past couple of minutes felt the same way. I went through a bad relationship. I turned to the phone because I was afraid of life. And I started turning to phone sex as an alternative. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. I've heard thousands of people tell me the same exact story. But my life turned around. I have a lot now. I have a woman that loves me. I have a home. I have everything now.
Stole it from her.
No, I haven't. And I'll tell you, the phone sex is very damaging.
Does the woman you have now tie you up and have bondage sex with you?
Yes, why?
She does?
Yes, it's fantasy. Why shouldn't it be
Boy,
fantasy?
hey.
Well, no wonder
This guy keeps up.
No wonder you went to Jughead here.
He's like, hey, listen, it's consenting adults. Certainly I can be open about it and won't be judged in front of this panel. Welcome to reality, pal. Guy that spends his time judging other people, shocked to discover he's going to be judged.
Ask her to have a little...
Yeah, but she
I'll tell you,
puts
this
together
sounds
Slut
good to
magazine.
me.
She portrays
I do,
women.
made for
Slut
you.
magazine.
No way, baby. No way.
For male sluts like you.
No way, baby.
Oh!
No way. No way.
Both of you belong
Let
in
me
a hog
introduce
pen
you
out
to
here in
Leg Show.
Tennessee,
You
Hill
get all
Land
the
somewhere.
abuse
Both
you
of you
need.
can waddle in the mud together. You know what I mean? Both of you are nothing
You're
but...
the wrestler. You're the one not to be familiar with that kind of...
Hey, I don't waddle in the mud, hon. I go out and I beat men up. Men, not punks, not like
That's
this,
an
and
admirable
not
thing.
vicious.
I like a man who
You hear me?
beats
Not people like
beat
this.
any
You know what I'm saying?
real men.
Why don't you stand up and act like a woman? You act like a $2 slut down here in Harlem. That's all you are. That's all you are. This woman here is sitting down there.
Oh my God. She took a swipe at her.
Bring down a woman. Show me a woman.
Look at Mort. Look at Mort. Content.
What the hell are you talking about? That I'm not a woman?
I didn't say you weren't, but you keep talking.
You a
about
liar.
it.
You did say it.
You a liar.
And I'm not a slut. I'm a woman 100%.
I want to know number one. Hold on.
What a body.
I want to know the definition of slut. I ain't having
Yeah, let's get it on the record.
Slut.
That's right.
Some lousy, undulating parts.
Right.
S-L-U-T.
That's the best,
Slut.
Mort.
I'm a great undulating tart. I don't qualify. It's
Good question.
comfortable.
Wait a second, wait a second.
I ain't doing it, Dad. You my dressing down. You tell me.
I'm
not
not
gonna heal the babe. I don't even show my legs.
I'm wearing shorts. It's okay to sit with your legs
But you
apart.
have
Your crotch
absolutely no
doesn't
class.
hang out.
You have absolutely no class. Even didn't you say that before?
You have no class.
You're definitely a slut.
Wow.
Yes,
What is your definition of a slut? What is, come up here. Come up here. What is your definition of a slut?
Come on.
She publishes it, I think. Uh-oh, here we go.
You don't know me. You don't know me. You have seen me for 15 minutes.
Okay, you
What is
act
your
like a
definition?
slut. You have absolutely no class. You stand there with your legs open. You just,
I'm wearing pants.
it doesn't matter. It's the way you come across.
Okay. So if a woman keeps her knees together and horses, she's not a slut.
No, I didn't say that.
Wow, where'd that come from?
Do you have sex?
Give him hell. Did
Yeah.
somebody already
Do you
throw
like
a chair,
sex?
by the way? Or was that
Yeah.
another show?
Do you have sex with one man?
Yeah.
Have you ever looked at anything erotic to help your sex?
Good.
You have decided that I'm a slut because I'm a pornographer and I'm sitting on Morton Downey and my knees are not clasped together.
Don't act like a woman.
I don't act like a woman, guys.
Wow, mogs her. Absolutely mogs this woman.
Good for you.
Oh, wait a minute. All right, the guy's on. I'm on.
That was it for
Let me
that.
go to Alan. Let me introduce you, please, to Alan Zellen. He's an attorney who defends the sex phone operators, etc. Alan, as an attorney who defends these sexy slime balls, is there any line that you won't cover for the almighty buck?
Morton Koopa Jr.
Is there any line that who won't
Yeah,
cover
I'm
for the
defending
almighty?
pornography.
Well, I've been here. First of all, you got all-stars here. You got a virgin here who's never seen it before. I think you guys are great. This guy comes on. He's an attorney, and he's a bull. He turns to the guy, and he says, "Why aren't you dead?" The other day in Kings County, they released a man who had been sentenced to 158 years in jail for killing 6 firemen and setting a fire. They discovered that the district attorney hid the evidence, and the guy walked out. If he had his way, he would have been dead 5 years ago. You tell me how the hell you get that guy back to life.
I don't know if that fellow was convicted for intentional murder. Was
You're
he?
full of...
Yeah, the documentary definitely goes into that a little bit, Pomp Flair, about his rat life.
was convicted for arson. What the hell is worse than that? How do you get him back to life?
Listen, I don't know if anything is much worse than that.
And the next thing is, every time I've heard this program, everybody has been so gosh darn patriotic, including you. But you're afraid of anything that's different.
Uh-oh. Oh, shit. Here we go.
All right, the greatest thing about this country...
Let's listen.
The greatest thing about this country is freedom. We have free enterprise, which means that people can go out and do something and make a living, and we have freedom to say and do what we want as long as we don't hurt anybody else. Some gal comes up here who's earning a living in free enterprise and doing something that nobody
Doug.
has shown hurts anybody else, and this whole crew of yo-yos is screaming and hollering, led by you! Led by you!
Taunting chat.
Do you really believe in America, or do you believe in America?
If you haven't seen him yet, the guy wearing the Waldo outfit is right behind this guy.
And Morton Downey makes the rules,
Like
and
right over his
everybody
shoulder
else
when he
is.
turns around. Well, shit.
I believe in America where the people make the rules.
Tommy Rich, for sure.
Absolutely. The people make the rules, and there is no law against what that young lady does.
As long as you don't show in a magazine penetration, things like that. And she doesn't show that in her magazine. But like this young lady says here, why do you have to sit in front of a TV camera with your legs spread giving a beaver shot?
All right. Yeah. Amen, Mort.
Number one, excuse me, number one, there's no beaver shot. Number two, let's see somebody stand up and say that Sports Illustrated is full of too. The biggest edition they have of the year is their swimsuit edition.
Right.
True.
It shows ass and thighs. It has nothing to do with
Quite
swimming
obviously,
or
there's
sports.
going to be very little of this show that'll be seen.
Sorry. This guy stands up and yells at everybody. He's out there collecting criminals. He was a...
Something wrong with that?
No, it's wonderful.
No, wait a minute. I got something to tell you. Let me tell you something.
Wait a minute.
If the truth was known, if you'd offend this slut, you probably sleeping with her on the side. That's my opinion. My opinion only.
Oh, boy. Oh, man.
You talking about me? I hope.
He's going to promo everybody.
Yeah.
All you guys are
Yeah. Oh, shut up. Shut up. We're talking over here.
I guess you just...
What's your word? Hey, and another thing. Let me tell you something. I see people like you every day, man. All you want is a dollar bill. You don't care how you get it. You don't care how anybody gets it. You don't care how many kids run up $1,000 talking to this piece of garbage. And this guy sitting beside him, he's a freak. He needs to be...
Dr. D is like the Frank Hassel of the Morton Downey show. It's like the one time that it's absolutely anything could happen.
Locked up.
Real danger sets in.
Kids are walking the street, and you're coming up here telling me that you are defending, they got a right to do this? No, they don't have a damn right to do it. And if I catch him out on the street making freak phone calls around my daughter or my son, I'm gonna beat the hell out of him. And I will beat the hell out of you. Now, what do you say about that, old man? Huh? No, not him, me. What do you say, old man?
I think if you're out collecting criminals, the least
Yeah,
you can,
I'm collecting them. I hope you got a charge against you.
the least you can do is act within the law.
I'm within the law.
Not by going out and beating people up because you
I
don't
have
like
not
what
beat
they
nobody
do.
up yet.
You just said if you're caught,
I will beat him up if I catch him around my kids.
Keep your kids at home.
I ain't keeping my kids at home. They got a right. It's a God-given right to walk the street of the United States of America. Now you're telling me to keep my kids.
Let's go. This is what we need. This is the show we need.
I don't know how you did it, defending people like this.
I would defend people like this much quicker than I would spend my hard-earned money going to wrestling shows that are all rehearsed before.
Oh!
You're a liar. I'm not going to get in that with you, but you're a liar.
Dude, this guy is digging in, bro.
You're a barefaced liar. That ain't my opinion. I'm making a statement. You're a damn liar.
No, not a barefaced
Yes, you're
liar.
a liar.
I've had a beard for 30-some-odd years.
Oh, turn a freak. You're a freak. You're a freak and they're a freak. Right here.
Wow. There was the Waldo guy. Yeah, he stood his ground.
We're
Wow.
31 UHF.
What an episode. My God.
You guys, wait a second. Randy has a question.
Okay.
This is the guy who has the masturbation problem. Go
Okay.
ahead.
I got a question for you.
Go ahead.
Okay, pornography. Do you think it's damaging? I talked to several police officers and had an interview with a vice squad. You know, every time they had a rape victim or a rapist, they found out pornography was involved. Pornography is
Randy,
destroying
come on,
people.
brother.
People like her should stop printing. They could drive her out of business.
Because they
Excuse me, hold on.
like this,
The fact that you
across me in
did
the
your
hall and
research
begged
by
me to
talking to a
beat them.
policeman doesn't cut the least amount of wood. If you really want the research, go to the sociology and everything else. There is more alcohol associated. Hey, wait a minute, mister. It's my turn.
Wait a minute. I work with kids, and I'll tell you something. I got a
Oh, my God.
I do. I got a 9-year-old kid right now wanting to commit suicide. He's only 9 years old. And he's committed, you know why? Because not only because of the sex, the people with their drugs and everything else, it's because the kid can't handle it. He has no one to talk to.
Wonderful. What's that got to do with this? You want to talk about crime? There's the first thing that's associated with crime and death and killing is alcohol. Now, why don't you turn around and say do away with alcohol? Because nobody will do it. If there wasn't a market for it, Mort says the people ought to decide.
Damn right.
One of my-
Older people.
All right.
I see 17-year-old kids drinking.
No, she sells.
And I was 17 when I
She sells
started. so
hundreds
don't
of
tell me.
thousands of magazines.
This guy's such a clown.
Let me go, wait a second. Let's go to the audience. All the experts have their share.
All right, you're saying pornography. You're trying to justify it through other crimes.
Can't hear you.
You're trying to justify pornography through other crimes.
I'm
You're
not.
saying,
You
oh, this
did.
crime is worse. Does that make it right just because that murder is worse than pornography?
Whoever said pornography is
But
bad?
we got to start somewhere. All right, we got to cut the law. Pornography.
Whoa, if the law said it would be stopped.
I don't think anyone is saying that a naked body is bad, all right?
All right.
I don't think anyone's saying that. I think, when you start
I think
showing
they are
naked
saying
bodies-
that, Mort.
All right? I don't think when you start showing naked bodies copulating and having insertion in that, I don't think that's good.
Mort's
I think
hung
that's
up.
bad.
You know,
And a
everybody
guy like
is-
Randy...
Mort's really hung up on the penetration, which makes sense because there were like kind of, in my opinion, kind of weird magazines at the time that showed everything but that, and it would always be really awkward. Like you would see like what was supposed to be like the moment before penetration. It was a really awkward kind of porn.
Probably needs that so he can, you know, have his...
Lord, with all due
That Red's
respect,
got to walk around, he ought to take his clothes off and go on 42nd Street in Times Square and walk
That
around.
would end sex crime forever.
You talk bad about pornography. Have you ever looked at a Skin magazine?
Yeah, but I'm not. Look, what do you think we have AIDS for? From the explicit, we always show pornography like it's nothing. So when the little kids see it, they think, hey, it's all right, let's go have sex.
Why are
And it's
little
reasons
kids
like that
seeing
that we have AIDS.
pornography? Why are kids have no interest in sex. Why would they want to have sex from looking at pornography?
No. The audience, Professor.
You had your thought.
Now, Randy, let the audience ask questions.
He's ready to talk. I want to ask him a question. Randy, how long
Oh,
have you been
boy,
off the
look at this
phone,
guy.
number one? Number two, why don't you start a club to help other perverts like yourself save some money? And then I got another question for Paul. Paul, I'm a hairdresser. I want you to come and see me at Salon 45. I got a color for your hair that'll really do something for you.
Thing is something now. Thing is something, and Doug and the rest of you are going to have to beat this, all right? But I could get the
A
medal
lot of
over here.
AIDS references lately, I feel like, in the shows we're
here,
watching.
here.
Oh, they are from the
This is the only one I
80s.
couldn't get it over. So she must give... Now, young lady, go ahead.
I don't know if you're a slut, but I just want to tell you I think you're a pig. All you've done is talk about sex. All you've done is talk about sex.
A pig.
With your legs open since you got on the show. So do you know what to talk about?
I'm sitting comfortably. Men are allowed to sit
Oh,
comfortably.
so you used to have your legs
Women are
open, you're
not
saying?
harassed there.
So you used to have your legs spread.
I know. All
I
these
mean,
people are
truthfully,
obsessed with my
truthfully,
sexuality. Why does it matter? Even if I am a
Seriously, do
pig,
either three of these folks here look like rocket scientists to you?
What the hell does it matter to you?
If you watch the Morton Downey show and you profess you're bothered by something, you
That's
came
what
to
I'm
me
here
to
for.
a woman.
That's what I'm here for. That's what this is for.
You're here to yell. You came here to yell.
Pig.
Not you. You're
Pig.
not you. You're made
Go
uncomfortable
ahead,
by
sir.
sexual women
Go ahead,
because you're
sir.
afraid your man is going to look at me and get
That's
hard
your
on.
You think you're hot?
Dr. Schultz, I'd just like to ask you a question.
Let me hear this man. Go ahead,
I'd
pal.
like to ask you a question.
Oh,
What are
my
your
God.
feelings on the death penalty?
My feelings on the death penalty?
penalty.
If a
I-dubs.
guy's convicted of a crime serious enough without a reasonable doubt, hey, kill him.
Hang him, hang
Let
him.
him do it. Like he wants
She's screaming, hang him.
Give him the chair.
Yeah, baby. Come here.
Go ahead, man.
Why, what do you want?
Oh, boy.
Take it off, baby. Go see him. Now, he looks like a nice guy.
At first, I always ask what you want. I never open the door.
I just want to give you a hug and a kiss. Give me my
Oh, boy, she's going to get weird with him, too.
All right. Let me gentleman here. Let me hear from this
Say that
gentleman.
I agree with the doctor there, and that somebody should take the law into their own hands to stop sluts like her. Because
From doing
Whoa,
what?
he's
From
calling
bringing
for
people pleasure?
vigilante
You think
slut
somebody
justice?
should go out and kill people who bring pleasure?
no, from being
You're
a
a real
bad
sick
influence in
man.
society.
You know, we're real American here. We're all getting up here and we're real upset about sex, which makes people feel good, and we're all real
Makes
thrilled
people
about a guy
feel
who goes
good,
out and beats
and if you
people
do
up.
it with some of them who've been making everyone feel good, they'll make you feel dead
How would you
eventually.
feel about how would you like
Back in just a second.
Yeah, you're right. She did it to him. Mort exonerated. Tommy Davidson. Oh my gosh.
I gotta tell you, Alice, you are being accused by this one and this one of being anything less than a woman.
marbles together, two at the age of 61.
Well, that's the
And
one
I don't
thing
need
I quit.
like the two of you and you two to change my mind.
I don't change your mind.
Well, I have to admit one thing.
I would look at your garbage. You're not even fit to walk, for Christ's sake.
Would Bill Boggs
how
please come
many
out here a
marriages
second?
will go last?
Would Bill Boggs please come out here a second? We have something for you guys.
Oh, here we go.
Hello, All-Stars. I hope you're all having a pleasant evening.
You Googled her?
I'd just like to point out that all the Morton Downey Jr. All-Stars are going to receive Loudmouth. Bring the good nature and fun and excitement of the Morton Downey Jr. Show TV show right into your home. You'll get this
There
game
we go.
after the
We need to
show.
get a copy of Loudmouth the game.
Now, I can assure you, Alice, I can assure you, he'll want the game because I think there's a dirty picture in there. All right? And he'll have some fun.
I have one thing to say, and I'll say, this is what, you tell me
Little
what you
miniature
think.
telephone in the box.
Where I come from, there's one cable network where I come from that puts on pornography day and night.
Do you watch it?
No. But
Did you
kids-
watch it when you were on the phone?
No.
You never watched? Why didn't you watch that when you were on the phone instead of getting on the phone?
See, there's two kinds of sex.
You know what you need? I don't
There's
know.
only-
Listen. Hey, I don't know you. Shut up. You ain't done it. There you go.
Oh! That's, yeah, he got him right in the face.
I done told you to shut up. You don't run your mouth and shut up. I want you to shut up.
Hey, Randy.
And don't stand up to me, okay?
Well, actually, if I'm going certainly, Randy's cooled off.
You're right, dude. You're just bounced off of me. You're right.
Got news for you. Let me hear this, young man.
Yeah, I'd just like to commend people like the good doctor up there, someone who does take the law into his own hands. Often cops don't get a chance to get convicted criminals.
The
and I
good
think you do a
doctor.
Good job.
Thank you.
Thank God we got guys like this. Literally.
How do you feel about gun control? First,
The what? I didn't hear you.
gun control. How do you feel about
Gun
it?
control, I think the Constitution says we have a right to keep guns, and we should be able to keep guns.
Yeah, let's see. Let's what?
convicted
Let's.
felons shouldn't have the right to keep guns. They take.
Here we go. Well, I want to rewatch that part.
You know what you need? I don't know. Listen. Hey, I don't know you. Shut up. You ain't done it.
Boom, man, right in the mush. Oh my God.
I done told you to shut up. You don't run your mouth and shut up. I want you to shut up. And don't stand up to me, okay?
Well, actually, if I'm going certainly, Randy's cooled off.
You're right, dude. You're just bounced off.
Got news for you. Let me hear this, young man.
Yeah, I'd just like to commend people like the good doctor up there, someone who does take
The
law
good
into his own
doctor
hands.
up there.
Often cops don't get a chance to get convicted criminals, and I think you do again. Good job.
Thank you.
Thank God we got guys like this. Literally.
How do you feel about gun control? First,
The what? I didn't hear you.
gun control. How do you feel about
Gun
it?
control, I think the Constitution says we have a right to keep guns, and we should be able to keep guns. Convicted felons shouldn't have the right to keep guns. If they take the guns away from us, only the crooks are going to have guns.
That's exactly right.
True.
Alice, we're going to let you...
That crowd perfect. Between a fat, a slut, and a transvestite, and two gentlemen and a perfect lady.
Bravo!
Wow, she's saying bravo.
Are your all-stars and my all-stars, all right? There's a champ, a champ, a champ, a jump, a slump, and a bump. All right? You got it?
Oh my God. Wow. What an episode. Let me see if I can find the, let me try to find the Provocateur trailer. Been in LA is confirmed. I saw the bike riding. Let's see. I don't know what this is. That's what... Oh, I spelled it wrong. I don't want to go backwards, though. What, she's in a movie? Who are we talking about? Well, now everything... Why is everything in French? Did I hallucinate that the movie is called Provocateur instead of Evocateur? It's actually a really good documentary. Like, it really is. Although I will say this. If you watch it, you might find out things that, like, it might lessen your enjoyment of the show if you find out how they... But most of you are wrestling fans, so you've already been down that road. But, like, seeing how the show's made kind of takes away a little bit of the aura to it, but it's a great documentary. Go back in time to 8. That wouldn't be too bad of an idea since OVW is kind of like dead in the water. We could go back and start to catch up with 80, you know, start wherever, 82, 83, catch up to 86, and then we'll already be moving forward on Friday. Yeah, that's the thing. Some of it was a work. But still, it's a good documentary. All right, I got to go. I've got to go. Unfortunately, I got to go to the dentist today, but I don't think it'll be an issue. I should be able to stream tomorrow. So we'll do, what's today? Wednesday. So tomorrow is Prime Time with George Durunda. Of course. How could I forget that? So anyway, I got to go, but hopefully I will see you guys